Mayor, you're live.
Mayor.
We're ready?
Yes.
Live.
All right. Time is now 3 p.m. or 7 p.m. in your time on April 8th, 2026. We'll call to order regular commission meeting. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. All right.
Pledge allegiance.
Pledge
I
allegiance
pledge
to the
allegiance
flag
to the flag
of the
of the
United States of America,
United States of America.
and to the
Republic
republic
To the republic
Which is
which it stands,
one nation.
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
That's
justice.
liberty and justice for all.
There's such a delay.
Sorry.
Well synced, was it?
Roll call.
Mayor Jacobs,
Here.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette.
Yes.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
All right. As you guys can tell, I've had a very urgent matter across the continent that I've had to deal with, and I am not in my seat tonight. I'm going to pass the gavel along, and to make sure this meeting goes in a timely fashion, I'm going to pass it off to Ashura to run this meeting. Ashura, are you okay with running the meeting tonight while I'm not there?
Yes. But I will put one caveat that I have to get to class. I kind of told the teacher I'd be very late, so I'm hoping we can
Okay, so
run.
you're going to have to make this move in a timely manner.
Got it. On it.
I'm passing the gavel to you at item number 4.
Okay, perfect. Okay, any objections?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Item number 4, deletions or withdrawals to the agenda. Yes.
Is this on?
You have to.
Hello? Okay. Yeah, I would like to request that item 9.1 on the employee handbook be pulled. I confess that I just got here a couple days ago, and I just haven't had a chance to really go through it with our HR director, which I would like the opportunity to do. And I think we'd be fully ready to reconsider this matter on the next meeting, which is
May 13th.
May 13th, if that's all right with everybody.
And just for the record, that is a second reading ordinance. It'll be re-advertised for the time as directed by our manager.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Is there anything else?
Okay, and yes, I have an item I would like to pull, and let's see here. It would be item number 12.6, discussion and possible action regarding repayment from Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins. I'm going to pull this item, and this needs to be addressed with the audit that we're going to have done, the forensic audit on the town. And it's in the hands of both FDLE and the Broward Office of Inspector General with possible criminal implications. I would like to hand the responsibility over to the town manager and the town attorney to address this issue and put it where it needs fit. As we, the commissioners, are overall responsible for the town's finances, it needs addressed, but I don't think it needs addressed here on the commission at this time.
Well,
No, I don't, I don't believe so either, any more than your thing with the FDLE. So I don't think either one of them should be addressed at this time, seeing they're both under investigation.
the town manager and I are happy to look at the item as directed, our commission.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. If there are no more withdrawals or deletions, I'll entertain a motion for the modified agenda. Is there a
I'll
motion?
make a motion to adopt the modified agenda.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
And Chair, I'm going to shut my camera off here just to try to save some battery life on the phone here so we can get through the meeting.
All right, sounds good. I'm
I'm
off.
still here.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I am gonna move some stuff around just because I want to make sure I get my items out before I have to run off on you guys. And I'll stay for as much as I can afterward. You know what? One thing I did not do, but all right, I'm gonna take 12.3 right quick, just because that's a really quick, easy one. 12.3 is discussion and possible action to join the ICLEA USA. As everybody knows, you know, we had a tragic event in our community with the passing of Nancy Mateo Bowens, and she was our regional director for ICLEA, and she would like for all cities to join ICLEA, be members of ICLEA, and be climate responsible. So I'd like for the town to join ICLEA, which is the Climate Action Control group that we've been participating with. The cost, I forgot, Cynthia, what was it, like 1,300?
Oh, it's on the, give me 1 second. It's on the agenda. Oh, Jesus. It's in the backup.
I know, it was under 2,500, right?
Yeah, hold on. Give me
For each person?
No, to join, so
to
that the
join
city's
us.
To join it. Yeah.
yeah.
How many again?
It'll be for the citywide. So if you guys are okay, can I get a motion to join?
I'll make a motion to approve 12.3 to join the ICLEI.
Second it.
Okay, roll call.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs,
He gone.
Sorry, yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. I'm skipping around 9 point.
All item.
Huh?
Finish your all
I
items.
am. I'm going to finish all my items very quick. 9.5, consideration and approval of ordinance to amend section 2.45, supplement commission procedures.
May I?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. For the record, item 9.5 is on second reading, consideration approval of ordinance to amend section 2-45 titled Supplemental Commission Procedures. The item is an ordinance of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, amending Chapter 2 of the Town's Code of Ordinances entitled Administration, amending Article 2 entitled Town Commission by amending Division 3 entitled Meetings, amending Section 2-45 entitled Supplemental Commission Procedures, amending the procedures related to the preparation of commission agenda, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
That's great. Want to explain what it does?
Thank you, Commissioner, if I might. At your first reading, you may recall there was language that was included in the backup with regards to the placement of items on the agenda by members of the commission. Also included at that time was an amended, called a supplementary proposal that Commissioner Mohammed had offered, which was included in the motion that adopted the ordinance on first reading. The proposed ordinance does a number of things. In addition to, let me just pull up a copy. In addition to amending the agenda procedures, it specifically speaks to the placement of items on the agenda by members of the commission, particularly with regards to removal of items placed by members of the commission. Just to be clear, I know there's been some conversation in recent time regarding the removal of items by staff, by your professional staff, by your manager. This ordinance, as proposed, would essentially cure that issue. Any item placed on the commission by a member of the commission could only be removed by that member of the commission. In other words, the members themselves could remove an item they place on the agenda, but your professional staff would have no opportunity to remove any item placed by a member of the commission on the agenda. Your staff would and could continue to assist in the preparation of those items, and it does delegate some authority to your professional staff with regards to commission items. There are certain timeframes that are built in. The ordinance really does a number of things, some of which are more general in nature as it relates to the role of the commission, defines the commission as, in fact, a commission form of government, establishes procedures governing the preparation of agendas and conduct of town meetings, reaffirms the commission's form of government with regards to the running of its meetings, does add a provision regarding the presiding officer. And I just want to read this into the record because the presiding officer provision has been something that we've discussed in a recent time. The new language that the ordinance proposes to add is as follows. The mayor shall serve as the presiding officer of meetings of the town commission. In the absence of the mayor, the vice mayor or another member designated by the town commission shall serve as the presiding officer. The commission, by majority vote, may remove the mayor or other member as presiding officer and designate another member of the commission to serve as the presiding officer for the remainder of the meeting. The authority of the presiding officer is limited to facilitating the orderly conduct of meetings, shall not include the authority to remove, refuse, delay, or otherwise prevent the consideration of agenda items submitted by members of the town commission. That clarifies the role of the presiding officer, which is not currently contained within our code. It does speak to, there's some cleanup, housekeeping, I'm just running through the ordinance. It does speak again to the preparation of agendas. The town clerk shall compile, organize, and distribute meeting agendas and supporting materials. The administrative responsibility for the preparation of the agenda, the organization and distribution of the agenda is ministerial in nature. In other words, there's no oversight role. It really is a perfunctory assignment. The preparation of the agenda shall not be construed as authority to limit, delay, remove, reject, or veto items submitted by members of the commission. Agenda items that are submitted shall clearly identify the sponsoring commissioner, department, or the administrative officer responsible for submitting the item. Administrative staff shall not attribute sponsorship of an item to a commissioner without the commission's consent. So provide some clarity with regards to the placement of those items. Any duly elected member of the town commission shall have the authority to place items on the agenda of any meeting of the town commission. Commissioners shall not be limited to the number of items placed on an agenda. That is a change from our code today. We do currently have a 4-item limit in the code. This would change that provision. If necessary to facilitate meeting efficiency, the presiding officer may coordinate the scheduling of items across successive meetings with the sponsoring commissioner at a public meeting. So during the course of a public meeting, the mayor, vice mayor, whoever's chairing the meeting has the ability to coordinate with other members of the commission to spread items out over a number of agendas in order to provide for an efficient meeting. As stated, the administrative responsibility for preparing the agenda shall not be interpreted to grant town staff the authority to remove, refuse, delay, or alter items from an agenda that have been properly submitted by a member of the commission. The town manager, the clerk, or administrative staff may assist members of the commission with formatting, organization, and preparation of the agenda for distribution, but those roles do not include the discretionary authority to remove or reject an item submitted by a member of the commission. An item submitted by a commission member may only be removed from the agenda by the sponsoring commissioner or by a majority vote of the commission occurring at a publicly noticed meeting. There are certain timing requirements. Members of the commission shall submit their agenda items in accordance with the agenda deadlines. Typically, it's 6 days prior to the agenda publishing. Failure to meet those agenda deadlines are not grounds for the permanent denial of an item, but may result in the item being carried over to a future meeting, the next available meeting. Members of the commission, and this is not in your code today, this is some new language that Commissioner Mohammed had offered. Members of the town commission may request factual information, reports, data, or existing records necessary to perform their legislative and oversight duties. Such requests shall not be considered public records requests unless the commissioner expressly submits them pursuant to Chapter 119 of the Florida statutes. Commissioners may request information directly from town department, officer, or employee reasonably believed to possess the requested information. Administrative procedures may be used to coordinate responses for efficiency. However, these procedures shall not restrict, delay, or interfere with the commissioner's ability to obtain information necessary to perform official duties of the town. Nothing in this section shall require a commissioner to submit a public records request in order to obtain information from town staff while performing their official responsibilities. Town employees, and this is to your professional staff, town employees shall cooperate with reasonable requests for factual information from members of the commission made in the course of performing their official duties. No town officer, employee, or administrative official shall discourage, prohibit, or take adverse employment action against any town employee for providing factual information, existing records, or routine operational information to a commissioner. Town staff shall respond to reasonable requests for information within a reasonable period of time, consistent with the department's responsibilities. There is an agenda publication and distribution timeframe. The agenda and its supporting materials for regular meetings shall be compiled and distributed to members of the commission, made available to the public no later than 72 hours prior to the scheduled meeting. We know in Broward County there's the 48-hour rule under the Broward County Charter. This provides for more notice than the county currently provides. Currently, where the 48-hour rule is the limit, this would extend that to 72 hours. The administrative staff and your town attorney may review agenda items for formatting, completeness, and legal sufficiency, but that review is not required as a condition precedent to the placement of a commissioner-submitted item to the agenda. In other words, there's no mechanism for your town staff to delay an item placed on the agenda by a member of the commission. The agenda sequencing, the order of items on the agenda shall be used to facilitate the orderly and efficient conduct of meetings. Agenda sequencing shall not be used to delay, diminish, bury, or avoid consideration of commissioners' submitted items. The presiding officer may adjust the order of items during a meeting unless otherwise directed by a majority of the commission. We saw that this evening. Administrative neutrality in legislative matters. Administrative officers and employees of the town are required to remain neutral in the administration of legislative process of the town commission. Administrative authority related to the agenda preparation, meeting logistics, or distribution of materials shall not be interpreted as authority to control the legislative business of the town commission, and no administrative procedure shall be implemented in a manner that consolidates control over the legislative items in any administrative office. This section, this is new language, this section shall be interpreted to preserve the ability of town commissioners to bring matters before the commission and possible action. Section shall be liberally construed to promote transparency, legislative access, and the effective exercise of the governing authority of the town commission. Does provide for some significant revisions to your supplemental procedures. The bulk of that information read into the record was the language offered by Commissioner Mohammed, approved by the commission during first reading.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And Commissioner Mohammed, just as the chair, I would ask this you open to a public hearing prior to adoption.
Good job, Bashir.
I open a public hearing. Does anyone from the public wish to speak? No? Okay. I close the public hearing, bring it back before the commission.
I entertain a motion to
Oh, hang
Any
on for a
discussion?
sec.
have discussion.
Those things we talked about earlier today, I believe that was covered in.
May I, and again, to Commissioner Morissette, we did have a conversation regarding the presiding officer provision of the.
Being present.
What is not included in this section is a requirement that the presiding officer be physically present in the room. If it is the will and intent of the commission to add that language, we would certainly do that this evening. This currently designates the mayor as the presiding officer. However, as the commission has exercised in recent time, a majority of the commission can select the presiding officer for any one meeting as necessary. The mayor is the default position. If the intent is for the presiding officer to be physically present, we would add that language this evening if so directed.
And who is the mayor?
It's to,
I say, who is the mayor?
Who is the mayor? Mayor Jacobs.
no,
currently-
the thing is to assure clarity in the communication and the recording, because we have audience who have a right to hear and understand the discussion here on the dais. So we have had in the past some issues when commissioners dial in where we had a hard time understanding or hearing it, and it didn't get out in the recording either. So to ensure that both the commissioners and the audience can hear what's going on, that's why I would request that the presiding officer is present.
Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah. I'll just add the one time that I ran the meeting remotely, we had a very smooth and successful meeting without a problem. At this point, I'm stuck here in Anchorage and I can't be there, so I passed the meeting off to Ashura, someone who can actually run the meeting and get through it in a timely manner. So
And
I
that's,
have no issues with that whatsoever. The language should be in there. You know, I don't have a problem with it.
Without
it's
objection.
simply to make sure that everybody can hear what's going on, and we have had in the past technical issues. I have myself experienced once I dialed in from Las Vegas that I could hardly hear anything. So I would not be able to run a meeting in that fashion. So it's really for that. It's to make sure everybody can listen and understand.
Okay.
I've probably been reading Robert's rules a little too much lately, but I think I saw that when you pass the gavel, it should go to the vice mayor first.
Is
that correct?
Unless a majority of the commission directs otherwise, the vice mayor would be the default next in line.
Right. I don't recall being asked.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't recall in Robert's rules either where you can just take the gavel from the chair of the meeting and just
Well, actually, the
vote
gavel
from
is
them,
just a
pass it
symbol.
around. So
The gavel is just
considering we haven't followed Robert's rules the way they're written, and tonight we were able to successfully move this meeting forward, it's fine. You know,
If there's no objection, we'll incorporate Commissioner Morissette's request
I have no objection to it.
into
I
the
have
final,
not
and I would
either.
just ask if the item was approved as amended.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve as amended?
Yes, I make a motion
To
to
approve as-
approve as amended.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Second.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
Yes?
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. 9.3, consideration of ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the Town Code of Ordinances, establishing town departments and repealing ordinance number 18-06-01.
For the record, Mayor and Commission, ordinance 2026-006, an ordinance to the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, amending Chapter 2 of the Town's Code of Ordinances entitled Administration, amending Article 3 entitled Officers and Employees, creating Section 2-56 to be entitled Establishment of Town Departments, repealing Ordinance 19-0601 adopted on June 29, 2018, providing for the creation of certain departments pursuant to Section 12 of the Town Charter, eliminating the Administrative Services Director position, providing for codification, providing for conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date. This is also, again, second reading and a public hearing. I did, if I might, Commissioner Mohammed, have one comment on this item.
7:40, okay.
When the item was heard on first reading, there was some limited discussion. You may recall that this item essentially establishes a number of town departments, reaffirms your charter officers that were adopted by the electorate in November of 2024, provides some separation and distinction for the Human Resources Director to create some of the operational independence from both the manager and the commission that the commission directed. The question I had is, following that meeting, there seemed to be some confusion, perhaps on my end, with regards to the commission's intent as it relates to the Administrative Services Director position. I know we've had a conversation about this position a number of times in recent months. Currently, it is a position with fairly significant authority codified at Section 2-96 and forward of the Town Code. That role has a number of administrative functions in the town, particularly with regards to the clerk's office, finance and budget, code enforcement, human resources, and IT. My understanding, at least in the years that I've been working with the town, is that position has not been filled, although I have some sense that the former clerk may have also served in that capacity for a period of time. I don't know that the position has been budgeted. There might have been some confusion on my part, whether it was the commission's intent to remove that language from the
I don't believe so.
charter.
I think that was it, as far as I'm concerned. Did anybody else have a issue with it?
What my item was when I brought this up was establishing the directors to report directly to the commission. It was not eliminating the administrator.
Can you speak into the mic?
It's an unfunded position, but it's a position that we have on the books so that if we need to hire that position without having to go through 3 months and 2 readings, we'd be able to do it.
Yeah, I go along with that, but I also see that the position has like a super authority, and I think it should be looked at what the job description should be before we go ahead and would implement something like that. Not that we're doing it tonight, but before we implement something like that, we need to check that job description, make sure that it's at a level of where it should be.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That job description's been in place for quite a long time, and I believe it's been revised a couple times along the way.
It probably needs one more. Then.
I think it needs to stay in place just in case we do need it down the road.
The way it's written, you mean?
Recent things that have come to light here in town.
Mr. Jacob,
We
you
need
mean the way it's
a lot of
written?
work.
The way it's written, you mean, now? Or you want to revise it?
We can revise it at a later time. The thing that
No,
was-
it could be revised at a later time, but it's been revised a couple times now. We can revise it at a later time.
Well, I would think it would be revised before we hire someone.
If I'm hearing correctly, the objective would be to keep the language in the code. We would
Yes.
not repeal ordinance 18-0601, which is the ordinance that created the position. And if the commission wanted to revisit the duties and responsibilities of that position at a later date, that's certainly within your purview.
What do you think, Mr. Morissette?
I would have thought that could be handled by an assisting town manager.
It's kind of like a duplicate
Yeah.
job, yeah. It's like it kind
Yeah.
of mirrors it.
It
Point.
It mirrors it. Originally, it was that we were changing up and giving the assistant town manager more responsibility. Is what it was originally intended for. But when I brought this item before the commission, it wasn't about that. It was about making sure that your IT director reports directly to the commission and that your HR director reports to the commission. It got morphed in the process. And the thing that I want us to discuss tonight is more so on making sure that those department heads report to the commission and leaving that administrative service director alone. It's not a funded position, but leaving it there as a placeholder if we do need it.
Just leave it open in finance.
Yes.
There's
We can do
no
that.
harm. There is no harm in leaving this position here and moving forward.
No, and that would
it
give
can
us-
stay. It's not funded. We can use it if we need it, or we can't. It's like getting rid of your 10 millimeter socket out of your toolbox. It's a needed item. If you need it, if you don't, it stays in the toolbox forever with the
Right, it would also give us
10
time to
sockets.
adjust it and make changes on it, so. Okay, so right now, we're going to just go for the, we're just going for the, getting the two folks that we want.
The establishment, the town department heads.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then see if one of the positions can handle this on top of their job description.
No.
We will hiring both.
No. This is just to make
No, we're
sure that,
putting- we're
this is
putting
just to make sure that
this
the
gentleman to-
department heads report to the commission.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do you need a motion to approve?
Yes.
But it would be as
I'll
amended.
make a motion to approve.
As amended.
Just to be
As
clear.
amended.
So the consensus.
I'm sorry, a motion to approve as amended.
I'll second.
And the consensus, just so I'm clear, would be to keep the administrative services director job in the position. We would not repeal the ordinance 180601. That language will remain in the code. We would amend the ordinance as adopted.
And that will address it.
And you could address that position down the road.
Description later.
That's certainly your direction. Just a public hearing, Mayor, if you will.
Yes. Okay. You know, I still like my writing better, but we're not gonna about that. I opened a public hearing. Nothing. Okay, I closed the public hearing. Okay. Mayor
So
Jacobs.
just to clarify,
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs made the motion and Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins seconded, correct? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs,
Yes.
motion carries.
I'm gonna ask you guys right quick. Forvis, do you think you can cover your stuff in under 10 minutes? Okay.
Home Depot.
No, Forvis, auditing,
Okay.
that way. Okay.
What item number is this, sir?
I'm moving back to 12.5.
Okay.
What do you want me to do with you?
I'm sorry, I know I'm all over the place. It was that my name wasn't next to it, so I was like, oh, wait.
You say 8.5,
No, 12.5.
12.
Back to the back, last page, or second to last page.
All righty, let's go.
Discussion and possible action for the approval to waive procurement, competitive procurement, and approve the agreement for Forvis Mazars for financial auditing services. Don't laugh.
Oh, I had a question about that, if you
Yes.
don't mind.
Okay, and then they're gonna come down and do a presentation.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We have in the past seen people just conveniently being in the audience, and then we want to fill a position, they all just happen to be in the audience, and we get them all of a sudden. I was just wondering if we're not breaking some sort of rules or something when it should go out to bid.
Okay.
Should this go out to bid regardless of, I mean, we can have 10 audits, but, shouldn't it go out to bid?
I believe so.
Well, I got a little to say about this. If we wait around right now to go out through the whole bid process, we're not going to have a town by the time we get someone in here to actually check what's going on in our finance department. For 4 years now, I've been publicly asking for an audit for the town's finances. As for 4 years, I've seen multiple problems, but it has progressively gotten worse with the last management in this position. I've been to the Broward Office of Inspector General. I've been to the FDLE. I've been to the Ethics Commission. I've been to the state attorney. I've even been to JLAC asking them to do a full audit of the town's finances. It hasn't happened. And with recent light of the financial irregularities in the town, if we wait any longer, we're going to lose the town. It'll be gone before we can even get someone hired to look into this. This company I vetted, they're coming in to audit and kind of figure out where we're at and what we need to get it corrected. our books have not been reconciled correctly for I don't know how long.
James, finance.
I couldn't tell you what's going on in our finance department at the moment, and it's going to take someone with their expertise and background to come in to at least straighten out and kind of figure out what we need and point us in the right direction. So this is, I believe it's slated for, or capped at $38,000 roughly for them to come in and do a preliminary. Is that what it is?
36.
36 is the cap.
I haven't got it.
It's
What is it?
in the backup.
It's in the backup.
Yeah, I think it
backup.
was like 36 or 30,000, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But this gets us a step going forward so we could see what we need and show that we are trying to fix and rectify the deep-rooted problems we have here in Pembroke Park.
Let me call the finance director. James, can you come up and, because I know we just had a
Madam Commissioner, may I just speak
Go ahead,
briefly to
please.
the item?
Yes.
Just a couple observations from a procurement perspective, if I might. The Commissioner will recall on March 20th, you had your meeting that Friday afternoon.
I'm sorry, are you okay?
No, he has the,
Had a kidney biopsy done yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
Been there.
Okay.
Function.
Oh, now, we just had an audit recently.
Wait, hold on. The attorney was in the
Well, I
middle
just wanted to offer, I'm sorry, you want to?
Sorry.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Just a couple quick comments on the procurement side of things. On March 20th, that Friday afternoon, we had a meeting where this issue was discussed. My law partner, Sam Gorn, was here at the time, and he mentioned the issue of a professional service. Auditing services akin to these are generally considered professional services. You also have a provision in your code that talks about exclusions to competitive bidding, and it allows for the purchase of goods or services for which the provisions of the procurement code are waived by the town commission. Just two quick observations. One, this is certainly a service that could be bid. This is not your independent auditor, which is a separate state mandated position that has a specific procurement requirement under state law. This is an internal auditor the commission could hire to perform a very specific scope of services, which are included in your backup. We have a professional services agreement that complies with your procurement code in the event the commission sought to waive that option and move forward this evening. Of course, you always have the option to go out to bid for the services as well.
So are we saying by doing this that we don't trust our audit?
No, I'm saying you have. It's
not the same.
This is not that audit. I'm saying you have two options, but both options are legally available to you this evening. One would be to engage the Forvis Mazars firm as a professional service provider and the waiver under your code.
And we don't have to put that out for bid?
If the commission finds that it is in fact in the town's best interest to engage them as a professional service, that would be an exclusion to your bid requirements in the code. Alternatively, this is certainly something that could go out to bid, and that's up to the commission.
Just a second, Mayor.
Okay.
You good? Okay, Mayor?
you wanna
All right, so let me give you a quick lesson in business finance. Your audit's only as good as the information that was presented. And in our case, not all of the information was presented. Our books were not opened to the degree and level that they needed to be open to find the problems that were in here. What was put forward is what we were required to put forward by the state. This audit is completely different from the audit that is done annually for the town. Again, our books have not been reconciled for years correctly. I've been going round and round from the time I got here with the first finance director and everyone since, because we have struggled in our finance department with the books getting correct and right.
So in
At this
5 years,
point,
excuse me, in
within
5
the
years you
last
never
year
did
and a
it?
half,
I mean,
we don't even know what's been spent because no commissioner reviewed the last audit and signed off on the last audit. It was signed off by the town manager, not a commissioner. So this is a necessary process to get our books cleaned up, to move this town forward in the right direction, and find the faults and problems that we have within our town.
Okay, what I was getting at is in the last 5 years that you've been here, we never did that. We never had that audit.
This is not, yeah, I mean, this, okay.
No, I've been asking for this audit for the last 4 years and we haven't got it. You guys have been kicking the can down the road since you guys got elected,
That's
and
not
it's
true.
not happening.
Okay,
I
I'm gonna,
I've been
I'm gonna
asking
interject for a
this
second.
audit
This is
for-
actually the first time
since
I've heard of
No.
trying
The
to
last
get a
election.
special.
Not the first time. We've actually voted on this numerous times and no one has put the RFP out. We've actually
Okay.
voted
You
on
didn't
it.
put the RFP
23
out.
Nobody put the RFP
did-
out.
so we
We
did
voted
try
on
to
this
do it.
repeatedly.
But okay, who brought in
to understand-
Forvis Mazars?
Guys, to understand, we are in a critical position here in the town. We're not in a spot where we can wait 6, 8, 9 months, a year to get an auditor in here to look in our books. We're in an urgent situation where we need to get someone in who starts work right away. This is not $100,000 that we're spending on this auditor. This is a fair amount to get the books open to kind of figure out where we're at. And we are in desperate need in this town for a forensic audit of our finances.
Okay,
Looks
And
like
that's
we're gonna
exactly
have
what
38,000.
this does. It gets us in the right place so we can move the town forward in the right direction.
who proposed this company?
So this company was actually a company that we used in the past when we had to do the audit on All Service Refuge.
No, but I noticed these people were present at the last meeting.
Yeah.
Who asked them to come?
They were in the neighborhood in West Park, and they were a previous auditor, so I asked them to come over.
Okay.
So they did, like I said,
We're a commission form of government and a very important.
They do municipal audits around Broward County, not just.
I understand that. I understand they're well.
I believe multiple cities around.
I understand they're well versed in their thing. It's just that we are a commission form of government, and these kind of service agreements needs to be decided by the commission, not by one commissioner. I appreciate the initiative to bring somebody in, but if I brought somebody in at my whim and just asked you carte blanche to approve it, that would be problematic.
And I'm sure if
I'm-
like carpenters in here or contractors in here to do some work down the street without vetting all of them, without having 5 bids.
Here's the deal, guys. Listen, since they came in last time, I work around 70 hours a week. I've had time to vet them. You guys are retired. I'm sure you guys have had time to vet them too. You need to take the notes from the last meeting when we move forward to the next meeting to stay ahead of the game. You guys have plenty of time. If I work as much as I do and I had time to vet them, you guys do too. So
How did you vet them?
I called around. I checked resources. I talked to other attorneys that are in Broward. I talked to other elected officials in Broward that have used their services. It's really simple to vet businesses. When you pick up the phone, you look who they are, you read their reviews. You can do stuff like this. It doesn't stop you. Hanging around in town drinking coffee doesn't get anything done. Sitting down, opening the books and looking what's going on and making phone calls and doing research, that's where the work gets done. So again, I'm across the continent and I'm able to do it. So you guys sitting right there can do it as well. But this company is clearly the choice that we need here in Pembroke Park right now. They have the expertise that this town desperately needs to get it out of the situation we're in, to make sure that we do have a town come 2027. Because right now, we are hanging by a thread.
James, would you like to, we're hanging by a thread. Are we?
I personally have no.
Not with the finances. Hold on, James, before you speak. The former town manager is currently reaching out to the Broward delegation, trying to help make sure our town is no longer. So we are in a really bad spot right now, and we need to get our finances and act together to keep this town together. You know, it's our responsibility as commissioners to keep this town together.
Financially, we're pretty sound.
Especially the finances, because that's all criminal, all the stuff that's been coming forward.
Okay, so the postulate here is that we're not in a good financial position right now. What's your take on that, Finance Director?
Depends on what you mean by not being in a good financial position. As far as our financial statements, we reviewed them last year. We have very strong reserves. We are not in any extreme sort of debt, and we have exactly what we need to fund our operations. Now, I understand. Now, I have no personal objection to a forensic audit being done. I have no problem with lifting the hood and having a second opinion when it comes to looking at our numbers and what we've done as a finance department. But I just wanted to add that part of the reason why we feel the need that to bring another auditor, and part of the reason why we think we may have missed something, I just want to add we did not miss anything. It's just our last audit was for fiscal year 24.
Yeah.
And so it was a very defined scope.
And our credit worthiness is pretty high, as I understand.
Correct. Now, the issues that took place happened in fiscal year 25, which is what is being audited currently. So my professional opinion is that there's going to be some overlap between the two audits. And again, you're looking at the possibility of doing additional work towards the same end. But again, we're almost done with our current audit, so it would just be a matter of pulling all of the files that we've currently submitted and having a second set of eyes review them. So personally, I have no objection to that. But again, I just wanted to reiterate that the reason why we are operating in the assumption that something was missed is because, again, our previous audit did not cover the period in question where the irregularities occurred. Previous audit was fiscal year 24.
Okay, I'm gonna
Almost finished with
I
your.
have a.
But we're almost done with the
I
current
do
audit.
have a quick question for you.
go ahead, Mayor, and I'm gonna take them.
Can you cut a check right now to cover the generator with the funds that were supposed to be in the account for the generator?
Yes, actually, one of the budget amendments that I'm presenting.
100% of the funds in
Budget
that
amendment-
account for the generator?
If the
Can we
budget
cut a
amendment
check
doesn't pass
for
today,
that?
is what he's asking you. Would you be able to cut the check right now?
No, because we didn't budget for a new generator. We were renting the current generator that we had. We're submitting a budget amendment because the commission determined back in November that they wanted to proceed with purchasing a generator, and we got a quote at the time. It was about 1.8 million, which made it into our capital improvements element. And this actual budget amendment will be for 1.2 million.
Listen, I'll keep it short. The answer is no. The answer is no. The money's not there.
It's because we didn't budget for it, sir.
10 years we've been working on this generator. We've had the funds, we've had grant funds, we've had ARPA funds. The funds aren't there. And this is a problem. There are funds for things that are supposed to be there that aren't there. And this is where the forensic audit comes in to figure out where our money is, where it needs to be, and how to get things done. We need to put the right policies and practices in place, and they need reviewed for the next audit. They need an outside set of eyes, because I can tell you for roughly 4 years, from I'm going to say 2018 to 22, we had a town finance director that wasn't a CPA and didn't have the qualifications for the position. And that it's just continued on. The problems have continued on. Without hitting the reset button and trying to fix it and get the right policies and procedures in place and get an audit to show us what really needs to be done, not a state audit, a private forensic audit outside the town, outside the hands of the commission, outside of the hands of the former town manager. An independent audit is going to expose what's happened in our town in the last couple of years.
Okay, that's a little more information than I needed, but thank you. And okay, so let's
So just
forward.
to clarify a little bit about it, just today I find out we have the reserve, and it was like almost 11 million something, right? We heard the last report. So there's a 2 million.
That's for the stormwater and sewer fund.
No, but the all reserve we are talking about. So there's a $2 million there, but that money we actually don't know, since it was sitting down from 2021. So we actually don't know where the money supposed to go. But now, at least for we need that audit, because we are in the deadline. I think it will be helpful for us, because there's a lot of money here and there, but that is not recognized because of the mismanagement. So I think we should go for that one.
I'm going to let them do their presentation first because they're going to answer a lot of questions. Because right now, there seems to be a confusion between a financial audit, which is an audit of your statements, versus the actual different types of audits where you have a performance audit, you have an IT audit, you have a forensic audit, you have a compliance audit. We're not in compliance with a lot of stuff. That's not going to be picked up on the CAFR that goes to the state every year. So there are different types of audits that need to occur in the city that are not being done. I'd like to bring, I'm going to butcher the name of this,
Forvis
I'm going to just call you Morehouse, Lovelace, and Stevens because that's what I remember you as. And I can get that name out versus this new name.
Thank you, James. I guess
I should also just add that the generator was not included in the list of projects on the ARPA list. And so that's, again, why it wasn't budgeted. Wasn't an oversight or anything.
all right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay,
Take care of yourself.
okay. Can you, oh, yeah, you did. I'm sorry, you
Hi,
did.
Forrest.
Very good. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. It is a pleasure to be here. We appreciate the opportunity to be here and appreciate the importance and the time sensitivity of this. My name's Christy Clements. I am a managing director with Forvis Mazars, and I'm also the national public sector leader. So all of my work is in government and public sector. I'm the national leader within our internal audit practice, which is a national practice. I have been with the firm for 14 years, and during that time, I have overseen all of the public sector, whether it's state agencies, counties, cities, and towns. I'm also the commissioner auditor for Pembroke Pines, where we have served as their internal audit provider for over 10 years. I'm a certified internal auditor. I'm a certified information system auditor, and I'm certified in risk assurance and risk management. That experience gives us really a deep appreciation for what you are facing. This isn't the first public sector entity that I have worked with that I have helped guide to a solution, whether it's financial processes, operational processes, compliance, etc. So with that, that's my introduction. I'll let Jamie introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. I am Jamie Amos. As you know from last time, I have a PhD in accounting. I'm also a certified fraud examiner. Project management professional as well. Senior manager with the firm, and I've been with the firm for over 7 years. And I work closely with Christy, and we do a lot of this type of work. So we're going to go through the presentation and let you know.
Yeah, and with that, I should have added that I have almost 30 years of experience working in risk management, internal control functions. So on the next slide, next one, I want to tell you a little bit about our firm. As you can see, we are global. Our revenue is about $5.78 billion. That's as of 2025. Florida is a state where our firm has invested a lot in. We have 6 offices here. It's one of the states where we have more offices than other states. Next slide. Our consulting practice is comprised of 1,900 people. We're in 28 states, and we have forensics, IT, data analytics. Our consulting practice covers all of those different types of services. And when we design a service for our clients, we're pulling those people in. So we have 1,900 people sitting on the bench with specialization in risk advisory services. That's separate from our external audit practice. External auditors are focused on the reasonableness of the numbers on your financial statements. Can they be supported? Are those numbers reasonably accurate? We are focused on internal controls, the risks present in processes, operations, departments, regulatory compliance, as she mentioned, IT. So we're going to take an integrated approach. We'll bring in professionals from forensics, big data tools, compliance and regulatory, grant management. Sometimes we pull those folks in, and our forensics team. So it would just be us. It would be a team that we would design to meet the needs of your unique needs. Okay, and the next slide tells you a little bit about our national internal audit practice, not global. But I think the important thing there is that we are a national practice. We have over 80 people who are highly credentialed, and as I said, a number of different competencies. The next slide just shows some of the services that we have built out as a firm. We're a top 10 firm specific to public sector, but I really want to get to the point of the discussion. That's information for you. I'm happy to answer any questions on that. But we understand right now that the town of Pembroke Park is really experiencing significant change in a really relatively short period of time. And there's also heightened public scrutiny and attention based upon the reported concerns. And with change and visibility, inherent risk occurs, risk increases. And with that, there's expectations around transparency and governance of the commission. And we understand the role and the importance of the role the commission plays in overseeing the transparency and governance for the city. And for that reason, we are recommending a phased approach, which you will find in your materials, beginning with a phase 1 discovery approach. And during that phase, we would conduct an enterprise risk assessment. So with that, thank you, Jamie. So a phased approach is really a thoughtful, deliberate approach. We could come in and say, well, we can do all these audits, but without an enterprise risk assessment and discovery audit, we're going to come in and figure out what we don't know, learn specific about your city, your operations, where the risks lie within each area, and that way it's important we can deploy our resources to the highest risk areas. Phase 1 is just the start. We're going to focus on gathering information, using our risk methodology and surveys, and speaking with stakeholders, reviewing documentation. And that phase is really going to provide an independent town-wide understanding of your current state and what needs to be done to move forward in a future state that's well controlled with transparency and governance. Phase 1 is not an audit of individuals, it's an assessment of the risks. So we know where to best focus our efforts, and you know where best to focus the spend for those efforts. It's coming in being informed. So phase 2 will build directly upon the discovery work completed in phase 1. Phase 1 tells us where to focus, and phase 2 tells us how deep to go in each of those areas. So happy to take any questions.
I was noticing a reduction in your rate for Pembroke Park.
Yes, so when we put pencil to paper, we were able to do that.
That's great. And how many folks will actually be physically doing it?
So
How does that work? I mean,
there will be most likely 3 or 4 folks on site conducting the interviews. Some of them can be performed remotely, but we do see value of being on site. And then we'll have team members supporting us in the background. And we'll have specialists brought in as part of those interviews embedded in our procedures.
so the hourly rate card, is that for all of those 3 or 4 people?
Yes. So
Each, I hope.
No. So the fees that we have presented to you are a combination of those different staff members and team members at that rate card.
Okay, great.
What do you think, how long it will take to give us the report?
So the initial risk assessment, if everyone is made available and we have access to information and our information requests are turned around quickly, we usually have a week for planning. So, and then we come on site, spend a week conducting interviews, and then the next week we could provide a draft report with our recommendations for phase 2. So a 3-week period, assuming that everyone is made available and our requests are turned around quickly.
So you do like a 3-week, then a review type thing?
And at the end of that in the 3rd week, we would give a report for phase 2 on what we think the audits should be and next steps.
I see. Okay, great. I'm good.
Welcome to the board.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
So you need a motion to approve the contract?
Yeah, and again, I would just ask that the motion to include a finding that it's in the town's best interests to engage Forvis Mazars for the audit in the scope specified in the backup.
I make a motion to, as amended.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins. Yes. Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to getting started.
Okay, thank you.
Did you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we got your yes, thank you. 12.4, discussion and approval to provide funding for the lighting lounge at Lake Forest Elementary. You guys heard this before. It was just to move the project forward with Lake Forest to give them their STEM program.
Okay.
Attorney, do you have something you want to read or no?
On this item, no, this
Get
is
a
just
motion to
discussion
approve-
in
approve-
action, correct? Yeah, I have nothing, thank you.
Okay. You make a motion?
I did.
Okay,
Second it?
roll call.
Who made the first motion? I'm sorry. Okay. Mayor Jacobs,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, what else do I have on here before I sneak out and go to class? I just saw one. 8.4. Consideration and approval of authorization for nonprofit use of town facilities.
May I? Thank you. Resolution 2026-037, a resolution of the Town Commission, Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, authorizing the town administration to review and approve requests from qualified nonprofit organizations for the use of town facilities without requiring town commission action, providing for implementation, providing for conflict severability, and providing for an effective date.
Any
Motion. Do you want to have a discussion?
No, no, no.
Is there any discussion you guys
No.
need?
No, that's
We
fine.
talked about that last
I'll
meeting.
entertain a motion to approve.
Second it?
Okay, roll call.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Don't mute your mic, Mayor Jacobs. 8.2, consideration and approval of resolution for employee cooperation and official reviews policy. Attorney? You want me to-
I'm sorry, which item are you on, Commissioner?
8.2.
8.2, for the record, is a resolution 2026-035, a resolution of the Town Commission, Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, establishing a policy requiring employee cooperation, official reviews, prohibiting retaliation, preventing interference and misuse of such processes, providing for enforcement, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
No.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 8.2.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Yep. It's already done. Second.
Okay, roll call.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. I think I got all mine out the way, right?
Okay, just now.
Huh?
Just go through now a little bit.
All right. I just want to make sure I got
7.1.
all my stuff. That way, if I have to run out on you, is there anything you need me here for?
No. Oh, that,
Your park thing?
yeah. Where is, which item that is?
Okay. Because I will be sneaking out probably.
I
don't
can't
know
hear
what's-
what's going on. What's what
No,
you're
I was
saying?
asking if there was anything that she needs me here for, because I want to make sure I cover it before, because I'm going to have to sneak out and get to class in a little bit. I didn't get the full day off. All right, so we're going to start with the Home Depot. Okay. 7.1, consideration and approval of special permit application. Michael.
If I may,
Chair, can I recommend just combining 7.1 through 7.4? I think they're all together.
yeah,
Yeah.
and if I could, just for the record, items 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, and 7.4 all pertain to the same applicant, Home Depot. Mr. Vondermule and his planning team have been working with the applicant for some number of months. The items are all before you for consideration. Just as a matter of procedure, if I could, each of these are quasi-judicial items. That means a couple things. In a few minutes, I'm going to swear in Mr. Vondermeulen, the applicant, anybody else who seeks to speak on the item. There also is certain ex parte requirements. And I would just ask, again, that each commissioner, to the extent that they've had any communications with the applicant or with anybody else as it relates to these items, just disclose that for the record, which is required as a matter of law. I'm also going to read each of the 4 items into the record. You're going to hear one presentation from Mr. Von der Veulen, one presentation from the applicant on each of those items. Again, there's some overlap in the context of the presentations. All of the documentation submitted by the applicant, the presentation by your professional staff and consultants will all be made part of the quasi-judicial record. At the end of that process, at the end of the public having had an opportunity to weigh in a public hearing, I would just ask for a separate individual motion on each of the items. Item 7.1, for the record, is the consideration approval of a special permit application. It's file number 25P01. Again, the applicant is the Home Depot USA Incorporated. The address, Northwest Hollandale Beach Boulevard, west of Southwest 31st Avenue, east of Bryan Road. This request, the applicant is seeking a special permit approval as required by Section 28-18701 of the town's Code of Ordinances to permit outdoor storage in the B1 and M1 zoning district. The item is Resolution 2026-016, a resolution of the Town Commission, the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, approving special permit application 25P01 to allow outdoor display, sale, storage of goods, products, equipment on property for the property located on the northwest corner, Hollandale Beach Boulevard and John P. Lyons, Southwest 31st Avenue in Pembroke Park, Florida. It's the Home Depot retail development. This would supersede conflicting resolutions, provide for an effective date. Item 7.2 is the consideration and approval of the parking reduction application. That's 25 PR01, same applicant, same address. In this application, the applicant is seeking a parking reduction approval to reduce the parking from 399 parking spaces to 183 parking spaces to redevelop the site into 107,874 square feet of Home Depot store with 28,167 square feet of garden center. Resolution 2026-017. The item is a resolution of the Town Commission, Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, approving a parking reduction application 25 PR01 for the property located on the northwest corner, Hollandale Beach Boulevard and John P. Lyons, Southwest 31st Avenue in Pembroke Park, Florida. It's the Home Depot retail development, which would supersede conflicting resolutions, providing for an effective date. Item 7.3 is the consideration and approval of a site plan application. This is 25 SP02, same applicant, same address. In this item, the applicant is seeking a site plan approval for the proposed 107,874 square foot big box retail development, including 28,167 square feet of garden center. This is Resolution 2026-018, a resolution of the Town Commission, Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, approving a site development plan for application 25 SP02 for the property located on the northwest corner of Hollandale Beach Boulevard and John P. Lyons, Southwest 31st Avenue, Pembroke Park, Florida. Home Depot retail development superseding conflicting resolutions, providing for an effective date. On this item, at the appropriate time, Mayor and Commission, I believe there's an amendment that your planning consultant's going to offer with regards to the allocation of certain flex units. It's a revision that we're going to seek to add into the resolution for consideration by the Commission, and Mr. Von der Veulen will speak to that a little further at the appropriate time. Item 7.4 is the consideration and approval of a sign variance. This is 25 SV04, again, the same applicant at the same address. The applicant is requesting 5 sign variances from the sign code to increase the length, letter, height, and total number of signs. The application requests a variance from Section 2120C, limiting the letter height, 2120C1B, limiting the length of the sign, and Section 2120C1, limiting the maximum number of signs. Resolution 2026-019 is a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, approving sign variance application 25 SV04, granting 5 sign variances for the property located on the northwest corner of Hollandale Beach Boulevard and John P. Lyons at Southwest 31st Avenue, Pembroke Park, Florida. It's the home retail development. This would supersede all conflicting resolutions and providing for an effective date. Again, because this is quasi-judicial, I would just ask anybody who's going to speak to the item, if you would just stand and be sworn in. This would include the applicant, your planning consultants. Does everybody swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth and nothing but the truth? The answer is yes. Thank you very much. And Madam Chair, Commissioners, I would just ask that to the extent any member of the commission has had conversations with the applicant, with your residents, professional staff, just in the context of ex parte disclosure, it'd just be appropriate to state that for the record. To be clear, ex parte communications are not prejudicial. There's nothing that would suggest you cannot have those conversations, but as a matter of quasi-judicial process, there is a disclosure requirement at the public meeting just to ensure that we've got a clear and complete record.
I have had conversations with folks from the Home Depot.
And so have I. I have asked what provisions there's going to be for drainage, because I understand the land is going to be raised compared to the surrounding area. So I have asked that question.
And all those communications and issues can be further fleshed out during the public hearing. Mayor, I don't know if you've had any conversations.
Wait, he hasn't unmuted yet. He's muted. Okay, he's unmuted now.
I'm unmuted.
Mayor, have you had any ex parte communications with the applicant or anybody else to disclose?
The only thing that I want to say is that us commissioners should not be meeting with the vendors or the, contractors like this without someone from the city with us. The things could go very wrong. Things could change. We could say something that we shouldn't be saying, or having a discussion that we shouldn't be discussing. So when someone reaches out and wants to meet the town manager, interim town manager, legal counsel, someone needs to, or representative from a department needs to be there when you go and meet with these individuals.
Yeah. I also met with Home Depot last year, I think it was. I met with Home Depot last year when they were first considering bringing the project to the city with the former assistant town manager, Mr. Williamson.
So did I.
And that was the only meeting I had. But I have been shooting Mr. Von der Meulen as well as Mr. Horowitz a ton of emails and asking that all follow-up be directed to the Public Services Director, because he would be the appropriate person to have those conversations with. And I was kind of waiting for him to come back with a report on the issues that I've raised. So I'm just stating that for the record as well. So I did not respond to any of the emails that I received back because I kind of directed them to staff for staff to deal with. Because that's y'all jobs.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, it is.
And again,
I've done the same.
I would defer to Mr. Von der Meulen. I know he's got a presentation on each of the items that I'll presumably consolidate into one presentation, followed by some comments and a presentation by the applicant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Mayor and Commission, feel free to interrupt any time during this presentation. There's multiple applications. If we start going past some place where you have a question on a specific application, please go ahead and stop or interrupt me, please. So this is the application for the Home Depot. So there's multiple requests here. One is for the site plan approval, and this will be the order of my presentation. It is going to be for a 107,000 plus square foot Home Depot, essentially called a big box retail facility. It also has a 28,000 plus square foot garden center. In this, there's an allocation of commercial flex. A portion, and this goes back to a text amendment that was processed about a year ago. A portion of this property is zoned M1 and has an industrial land use. At the county level, it doesn't matter. Both commercial and industrial are considered what is called commerce at the county level. However, we must continue to keep accounting for any changes in land use between commercial and industrial. So therefore, there will be a change in the or there'll be an allocation of what's called commercial flex to the industrial parcel. There's also a waiver in the impervious requirement for a minor reduction in the pervious. There's a parking reduction. The parking reduction is from the zoning required 399 spaces to what is requested at 283 spaces. There are 5 sign variances, and we'll go into detail on each of those variances. And the last would be the special permit, and that's to allow the outdoor storage. What you'll see in the presentation is that the outdoor storage pretty much covers things that you would typically see at a Home Depot or a Lowe's or an Ace Hardware. This is the site. So you have most of the area zone B1. These are commercial structures that are there now, as well as the vacant Wells Fargo site, and then a self-storage facility where you see the M1 label. So it's all the property between JP Lyons, Bryan Road, and Hallandale Beach Boulevard. It encompasses 9.3 acres. So here is the site plan. The area outlined in orange is the actual, the light green that touches the orange. That is the proposed garden center. The maximum height for the building is going to be 37 feet. The building meets all setbacks and is extensively set back from Hallandale Beach Boulevard, where the entire parking field is essentially located in front of the building. There is room for a future 7,400 square foot outbuilding near Hallandale Beach Boulevard, which is in the darker green. And then you can see the colors essentially showing all of the pervious area on the site as well. I'm going to go into some of the site plan details because it may be difficult to read on some of your laptops or computers and just highlight them. So the property does abut a mobile home park, and it's the Lakeshore Mobile Home Park. And this will be the rear of the property. Behind there will be an 8-foot high masonry wall, as well as anywhere between 12 feet and 25 feet of landscaping. So that would include hedges and shade trees. So that would buffer any visible items that from the Home Depot, as well as potential noise issues. On this side, we broke up the two. We essentially cut out the building, and are just showing you the details both on Bryan Road and JP Lyons. On Bryan Road, you're going to have a 5-foot sidewalk that will connect the entire length all the way down to Hallandale Beach Boulevard, as well as 10 to 20 feet of landscaping. And then you can see the garden area and the display area that we'll discuss a little bit more on the outdoor storage. On the east side, along JP Lyons Road, again, you're going to have a 5-foot sidewalk, as well as 11 to 30 feet of landscaping along the right-of-way. Along Hallandale Beach Boulevard, there'll be the relocation of the bus shelter, the construction of a right turn lane. This will allow for the movement of traffic along Hallandale Beach Boulevard to continue while people queue to turn into the parking lot. And then there's identify the display area, which we can go into further detail. The landscaping along Hallandale Beach Boulevard will be consistent with a lot of the redeveloped sites, and that will include the use of royal palms. These are the elevations of the Home Depot site, as well as the colors. These are pretty standard in terms of the identity of this particular brand. The parking reduction. So the code doesn't have any specificity between the different types of retail or and big box retail. Does have some efficiencies kind of built into it. So that is why I believe the client or the applicant is requesting a parking reduction. Right now, the current code allows for or requires 1 space for every 300 square feet, as well as 1 space for every 4 employees. That identified as 399 spaces. The applicant is requesting a reduction down to 283 spaces. That is a 29% reduction. They did provide an analysis, a parking study, as well as a traffic study for this project. And based on their parking analysis by their traffic engineer, the peak parking demand is expected to be at 254 spaces. However, they didn't want to go all the way down to that number. They left this additional 29 space cushion for a total of 283 spaces. The sign variances. So the first one is going to be for the maximum number of signs allowed. There is only one. The code currently only allows one. This will allow 4 separate wall signs, again, identifying various sections of the big box building. Again, to the benefit of the town, you don't have an entire shopping center where you're going to have individual signs for each one. So this request for additional signage, we did not find as objectionable. The maximum letter size, again, this is based on the building being set back fairly large. You have an increase in the letter sizes of the building, or of the signage. Continuing on to the maximum sign length, due to the increase in the sizes of the lettering, the lengths are also requested to be increased as well. Again, since it's not a strip shopping center, this is just essentially one building. There is the efficiency of having even less signage than you would see in a strip center, but it does benefit only one big box tenant. The last application is a special permit. This application, we tried to help visualize what you typically see at a Home Depot. This will be their garden center. Many times you'll have areas where plants and other materials around the garden center are placed outside, as well as the exchange for liquid propane. And then this Home Depot also includes the leasing of vehicles and equipment. And with that, I'll go ahead and conclude my presentation, answer any questions you may have. The applicant's attorney is here, as well as some of their design staff.
Yeah, I have I understand, I hope correctly, that the whole area is going to be raised 3 feet above the surroundings. So what steps are being taken for mitigating the drainage?
Yeah. So the applicant is required by law by both the town of Pembroke Park and by Broward County, who oversees the drainage. They're required to retain a specific amount, which is a very large amount. And I'll let the applicant describe the particular. I think it's a 100-year storm, but I'm not a civil engineer expert. They do need to bring the site up for finished floor elevation, but also there are new rules in place by Broward County that they have raised the water table of all drainage systems, so that is why the entire site is being brought up. The applicant intends on installing essentially underground storage tanks that will hold the water and then slowly release out into the
Yeah, it was explained to me that they were going to have cisterns under the parking area and stuff like that, so that they would catch that water and it wouldn't be releasing it into the street and stuff.
that is correct. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm gonna bring down our public works director, because I think, yes, I'm sorry. Don't give me that look. Listen, I'm gonna pull the girl card on. Explain this is French. Do you need to swear him in?
Yeah, I'd like to know just whether Mr. Odom was sworn in. Were you? Were you not?
Coming in.
Will you just swear or affirm that testimony you're about to give be the truth, nothing but the truth? Then we got a problem.
Absolutely, of course.
Thanks, sir.
Jeff Odoms, Public Service Director, Town of Pembroke Park. Question?
I have questions. I mean, because I know Vandermill is explaining this, but
You need to use that microphone.
Yes, sir. I'll speak up.
So I know when Seneca came in, and this is before everybody's time other than probably me and you, Mr. Roach, Seneca kind of came in and they did their whole soup bowl thing, which basically created flood areas for everything surrounding them because they elevated their property and basically the water kind of went everywhere other than their property, which basically created our flooding that we have now. How does this 9 however many acres site being at a 3-foot elevation above the surrounding areas impact the surrounding community, which is what you were asking as well? And with the system that they're looking to put in place with these storage, what did you call them, storage pods?
Cistern.
Underground cisterns.
Underground cistern.
Okay.
So without the cistern, what you would end up having is the elevation would allow for stormwater to run off onto the town's roadway and infrastructure. And that infrastructure would now have to take on the responsibility of maintaining and managing the stormwater from that site. With the cistern plan that's in place that they're intending to utilize, it's to capture the water on site and then dissipate the water underneath the ground out of the right of way so that we don't lose level of service on the roadway.
Okay. So now is this going to be like a timed push out into our lake or like where's it going?
The discharge should be underground, working similarly to how an injection well would work. In other words, the release will be below the water, below the ground level into the water table. Because of the location, it probably will not discharge directly into one of the waterways, lakes, and canals and such like, unless they have an outfall as part of this, which I have not seen an outfall as part of this right now.
So, you know how we rain, where it just
When it rains, it rains.
It rains. So, I mean, I'm just kind of curious how we're coming up with like where this holding is and.
The holding area, from what I understood, is going to be underneath the parking lot, and there'll be more than one. It isn't just one little tank. There's going to be a cistern type system that's going to collect the water, and of course, like in a cistern type system, when it wants to release the water, it releases it very slowly. It isn't like it's going to come gushing out somewhere.
It's going to be connected to JP Lloyd's Alliance Road and Southwest 27's.
It's not supposed to be.
It's not connected to anything?
It's not supposed to be connected to our system.
So we are depending completely on injection wells and percolation.
The system that is being identified here is a system that would work on the property for where Home Depot will reside, and it's to manage the stormwater that will, in essence, fall on that property, and it manages that water by capturing it on property through its infrastructure into the cistern to be released underground in a time release type opportunity to keep it from overwhelming the roadway surrounding their property.
Yeah, I just don't want to create a new problem for our neighbors. We already have some of the mobile home parks that are not connected to any kind of drainage, so we don't want to make things worse.
Right. The site is large enough that they can actually disperse quite a bit of water underneath it, from what my calculations were. So.
Yeah, I wish that worked where I live.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet.
Okay.
You also have the applicant here who's prepared to make a presentation, Mayor.
Yeah, no, I kind of wanted to ask our Public Works Director, because he's kind of the one managing all of that stuff, because I'm playing the girl card here, that stuff. And we need to kind of figure out where this water is going so that we're not out here in rain boots trying to give out food and water again every time it rains, because that was the issue we had with Seneca. So then I do have a couple other questions regarding like the flex units. Which flex units are, where's Jeffrey?
And again, I just want to correct my comment earlier. I mentioned flex units. Our code has a provision for commercial flexibility. And Mr. Von der Meulen can speak to that a little bit better as it relates to the site plan. But I just want to make sure that when we're talking about commercial flexibility, there's a provision of the code that says, particularly with regards to retail uses and buildings with certain square footage requirements, there's an opportunity to require an allocation of commercial flexibility from the town commission, which is concurrent with site plan application. But again, I'd like Mr. Von Muelen to speak a little bit more to that process.
Yes, so the commercial is not in terms of units. When we talk about flex units, those are like for residential in a commercial district. This is actually in the land use of industrial and commercial. In the industrial land use, you are not supposed to have retail uses, or other types of commercial uses within an industrial. That's within the town's land use plan. So it's mainly specifically about the industrial use and commercial use. Now, Broward County has given every municipality within Broward County the ability or some flexibility of up to 10% of their industrial can be converted to commercial and vice versa, meaning that if there was a need for industrial, you could rezone your property, rezone that commercial property to M1 and apply industrial flexibility. So in this particular case, you saw that it's about 25% of the site, or I have the exact number, 2.35 acres of property that will be converted from industrial to commercial, so that there is no conflict with the comprehensive plan.
Okay, so the 10% is citywide, or is it 10%?
It is citywide, yes.
Okay, and we're going to be we're allocating how much of that for them?
This has never been used before, so I don't have the exact percentage, but I can get that to you.
Okay, please. I just want to make sure we're not using up the 100% on this one property.
No, we're not.
All right. Then second question that I have is Bryan Road and JP Lyons Road. Since those are going to be like access points, those are city roads, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so what impacts do we have on those roads, and who's going to be maintaining those roads?
Sorry. Yep. Sometimes I get out ahead of myself. I apologize. We will maintain those roads as far as their town roads. JP Lyons, as you know, has a stormwater project that is actually upcoming, which I should have a planning schedule for how that's going to go, and it should be done prior to Home Depot's project, which we've been discussing that. I've discussed that with their engineers to understand their timelines. So JP Lyons, as far as stormwater is going to be, I know it's a issue right now with flooding, but we should be addressing that with our project prior to Home Depot's completion and occupancy. And we will maintain the roads, and those roads are to be maintained by town staff.
Okay, and are we getting impact fees on those roads, since those roads will be utilized by heavy traffic bringing supplies in and out of the city?
Based on the analysis that was provided to me, there is a general impact fee that has been applied to this project and a stormwater impact fee that's been applied to this project as of right now. The general is supposed to encompass aspects such as roads, and that is a part of what has been agreed to at the moment.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're not putting a burden on our community with the fact that you're going to have all of this traffic coming up and down John P. Lyons and Bryan Road, and then we're going to sit here and have to raise all of our taxes to keep the roads smooth with the traffic, is what I'm saying.
I'm a little confused. So who will be the responsible for that?
We are.
We're responsible for the road itself. The road that's a town road. So
But seems they are going to use also the road, so it's not like they has to give something for the town benefit.
the way the calculations are done as it relates to impact fees are established. They have not been updated in many years. I have just brought that forward and discussed it. That's a part of a different discussion. But for right now, what has been calculated and applied is captured under what we call general term, And whatever that calculation provides for or allows for has been applied to this project through the building department. Those funds are a part of what we receive because of the additional traffic and flow of traffic and such like from this project from Home Depot. Is it everything? Because that process has not been updated for a period of time, I cannot tell you if it should be more or less or anything at this moment. I'm just going by what the current process allows for has been applied as it relates to roads.
So,
Can I ask our attorney, can we revisit this agreement in case unforeseen problems pop up? Like, let's say the drainage doesn't work. We also have a noise ordinance in place in that area. Are these things we can readdress with Home Depot if it comes up and it shows that the plans that we have here are not working as intended?
Well, a couple things. So the applicants before you are a special permit application, a site plan, a sign variance, and a parking reduction. We're really talking about the site plan as it relates to a lot of these issues.
Yeah, I understand that, but
But Commissioner, there's not a developer's agreement, which is part of this process. Again, I would certainly defer to the applicant and their counsel. I would hope that they would have and be open to some dialogue with the commission and with the town in the event that there were unforeseen impacts as a result of this development. The approvals tonight are final approvals. Again, they can be approved with certain conditions. But again, once the approvals are in place and steps are taken by the applicant to move forward with their development, they have certain rights and they have certain entitlements as well. I would hope, given the nature of things, they'd be open to some dialogue if the need arose, and they'd be willing to work with the town and have that conversation in effort to mitigate any unforeseen obligations. But in the context of revisiting an agreement, there's not an agreement that's connected to this development as we do see from time to time.
thank you.
I think
Could we find, would they be open to such an agreement?
I mean, you have the applicant here, and
Yes,
I don't
we-
want to speak for her, but again, I know Ms. Lautenschlager and her client are happy to make their presentation and offer whatever feedback they can.
I think you get the gist of what Commissioner was asking, correct?
At this point, Commissioner, Tracy Lautenschlager with the law firm Greenberg Traurig representing the Home Depot.
Is the
Pull
mic
it
on?
down.
Into the mic, I'm sorry.
I think it is.
My name is Tracy Lautenschlager with the law firm Greenberg Traurig representing the applicant. We proposed a draft development agreement. It would have memorialized the things that the conditions of the site plan approval will have us do anyway. We did seek a recalculation of some impact fees, but that is not before you. We are not seeking any relief from validly enacted impact fees at this time regarding the project. I will say that some of the concerns, and we can do our little quick presentation when you're ready, and our civil engineer, Peter, can address the drainage more competently than I can. But in addition, we will be granting easements to the town on the east and west roads to widen that right-of-way. So we're contributing to the impact of our project by the grant of those easements to widen your right-of-way, in addition to paying the lawfully enacted impact fees that would apply to the project at the time that we seek building permits. And we're always willing to discuss, but if we all know Home Depot, right? We all use Home Depot. They're a national company. And once the store is constructed and they begin operating, they become part of their community. And the folks on the side of the business that run the stores will be the ones that will engage with your community and respond to any issues that arise. They have the strongest motivation to make sure that the site functions properly because that's their business. They're not going to allow the site to fall into disrepair, for drainage issues to become unmanaged, because that makes a successful business. They need to run it correctly. But of course, they will always, as a member of the community, respond to concerns from the town. So I think that addressed some of the questions.
Oh, that was a very good answer. Thank you.
It's the truth. And if your questioning of staff is complete, I can do a little presentation, but if you need to ask your staff additional questions, I'll step back.
Okay.
And you're still going to give me some information, I believe, on the traffic
There,
progresses, all that
we-
type of stuff. That
part of our application, there's an extensive traffic study that Derek Tedeschi from Kimlinghorn performed that's in your backup, and there's also the parking study. And Derek can address the outcome of that study. There's a slight increase in traffic. The existing development that we'll be eliminating, when you net that out, we do have a small increase in traffic, but Derek studied all of the surrounding roadways, all of the surrounding intersections.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I don't mean to be rude or interrupt anyone here, but I have to tap out, guys. I gotta catch a flight here. So I'm stepping away. I want to thank everyone for their time, and I'll be back for the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay.
So that study was extensive, and it did not identify the need for any substantial offsite improvements. Hallandale Beach Boulevard, as you know, is a state road, and the team has met with FDOT. They did request the right turn lane into our primary entrance. That has the effect of relieving congestion because it moves the slower drivers who are getting ready to turn, it moves them out of the drive aisle. And we'll have to complete the process with FDOT to get things permitted. And it could be that they request some other improvement, but we're following FDOT's lead in that regard.
excellent. Thank you.
Okay. See, my understanding is that FDOT deals with like the county roads, but not our little city roads. So that's why I just want to make sure, because Bryant Road and John P. Lyons Road are city roads, not under FDOT's like purview.
That's correct. We're contributing right of way,
Okay.
and we'll pay whatever impact fees apply.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank
I have
you.
no more questions.
Okay. Do you need
Thank
to
you.
do a presentation, or can we just make a motion?
There's just a very few things in it. It's brief anyway, but there's a couple of things I want to show you. Can you read mine? It's here. Okay. This you've all seen. These are the requested approvals. This is a view of the proposed development that shows in a larger scale, that shows the entirety of the development with the landscaping buffers. The access, I hope here, can we reduce the size of this, or is this my problem? This is the way it was put into the, okay, yeah, that probably helps. This is a slide that we added to show the access points to the site to make it a little bit more clear, because the site plan is rather detailed. So you can see in the blue line the path for trucks and deliveries in and out of the site. You can see the green turns and the red turns showing the customer access to the site from the east, the west, and the central access, and then an additional access exit only on Bryan Road to Hallandale Beach Boulevard. This was something the commissioner had asked for, so I had this put together to show the access ways. All of this, I believe you have seen. This is the other slide I wanted to talk with you about. A project like this will have a significant economic benefit to the town. We had a study prepared by EY, which is what we now call Ernst & Young. The project will create 115 one-year construction jobs, 184 long-term jobs with a salary in that mid-40 range, approximately $2 million in new property tax in the first 10 years, and approximately $180,000 in annual taxes to the town. So we're going to provide, this project will provide a significant benefit to the town, and we wanted you to know about that. This is just a little bit more detail about the rear landscaping. We were very concerned about our neighbors to the north, and I think that the project will actually put them in a much better condition than they are now with the wall and the landscaping and the separation that we provide. This is a little detail that Michael also showed on the landscaping along Hallandale Beach Boulevard, which we think will be in very similar to the landscaping you desire up and down Hallandale Beach Boulevard. And then if you have any questions for us, and again, if you want to discuss drainage more specifically, Peter, the civil engineer, is here, and Derek, the traffic engineer.
Just out of curiosity, say from the day you break ground till the finish, what timeline is that?
Let me bring up Derek. Introduce yourself.
I would pass that one on too.
Yeah, Peter Van Rens, Kimley Horn and Associates, Vero Beach, Florida. It's approximately 1 year of construction time frame once they break down.
Wow, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, that's a well-oiled machine.
Great, thank you.
I think it's looked like a mutual good agreement or good deal here.
So
No
you-
more questions?
No.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Do we need to vote all four of them separately?
Just a couple quick items, if I would. First of all, the presentation by Ms. Lautenschlager, I'll ask be added into the quasi-judicial record by the clerk, which we will go ahead and do. I'll just ask Commissioner Mohammed to open the item up for public hearing to the extent any members of the public wanted to speak to the item. Once the public hearing was closed, absent any more commission discussion or deliberation, I would ask for a separate motion on each of the 4 items, Commissioner. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Open a public hearing.
David Roach from Dale Village. The only question I have is why are we doing another Home Depot?
That you need to ask Home Depot.
This is their business. They know where they have the business to draw from, and this plan does not involve closing the West Park Home Depot. So both of them will operate. So it will provide more convenience to your town residents.
My other question was, has the FDOT mentioned to anybody about expanding to 3 lanes going east and westbound on Hallandale Beach Boulevard, which has long been mentioned, and Commissioner Mohammed knows about that. Because if it expands to 3 lanes, it would actually get into their right turn lane and also possibly into the parking lot.
Come on down, Mr. Odoms. No, you got to come down. Oh, you want him to come down? He can answer it? Okay. Somebody answer the
There's
question.
something going on here.
Just your name for the record, please.
Derek Tedeschi, Coral Gables, traffic engineer. We coordinated with FDOT, and they provided all the committed developments that are going to be happening along Hallandale Beach Boulevard, and that was not mentioned to us. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any
Thank
other
you.
public comments? Then I close the public comments and bring it back before the commission. Go
Thank you,
ahead,
Commissioner.
Attorney.
Again, I just ask for a motion, one motion on each item separately.
I'll make a
You've,
motion to pass Resolution 2026-016.
I second.
Roll call.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Mayor, Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to pass Resolution number 2026-017.
I second.
There any discussion? Nope. Roll call.
Okay. Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins. Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to pass, let's see, where are we?
2026.
2026 was
18.
that's 18.
If I might, on this item, with the commission's permission, if we could include the commercial flexibility reference that Mr. Von der Meulen spoke to on the site plan? Is we have consensus on that change?
Yeah.
Yes.
Flex
Yeah.
units. But also, can you add that they'll be working with Public Works?
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-18 with the commercial flex units as well as a understanding of working with the Public Works Department.
Thank you, Commissioner.
As amended.
Okay. You making a motion?
I'll make the motion. As stated, 7.3 as stated.
Second.
I second.
Roll call.
Yes. Turn on. Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Make a motion to pass 7.4 for the sign variance.
I second.
Roll call.
Got you there.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. And I think this is a good deal for both Home Depot and Pembroke Park.
Okay. 8.1, oh wait, Michael, what do you have on here? You have something else. I know you have the alcohol beverage one. I know you're like, you wanted to sneak out with them. I saw that.
No, I believe your town attorney will handle the alcoholic beverage.
Okay, so you're trying
Because
to,
I believe he handled it on first reading, so.
Yeah, and
Right.
so you're sneaking out is what you're saying? Because you have that look. I see the look in your eyes.
9.4.
Yeah.
You want to do 9.4?
9.4, yes, please.
For the record, Mayor Commission, this is second reading ordinance 2026-008, an ordinance to the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, amending Chapter 3 entitled Alcoholic Beverages, amending Article 1 entitled In General, amending Section 3.1 Definitions, amending Section 3-2.5 Extended Hours License, amending 3.4 Proximity to Licensed Businesses, repealing and replacing Section 3.5 Proximity to Licensed Businesses to churches, schools, amending Section 3.6 regarding noise restrictions in establishments, providing for conflicts, severability, providing for an effective date. There's been no changes to this item since first reading, Mayor and Commission. I do believe your police chief has a couple comments on it, if I might.
I do also when you get a chance.
Again, I defer to Commissioner Mohammed, but yeah,
Go
thank
ahead,
you for your
Chief.
consideration.
Hey, Chief.
Good evening, Commissioners and Mayor, Vice Mayor, rather. I guess the Mayor's gone. In reference to this ordinance, the Police Department has several concerns regarding it. We feel that we need to pump the brakes on this, put some guardrails on it, and determine exactly what we're going to have in our community here. Several of the issues that were identified were, the definitions of impacting enforcement, the alcoholic beverages that are going to be served, and so on. And we would recommend adoption of Florida state statutes relating to that. Operational impact, depending on the types of incidents and stuff we're going to have. I know that one of the items mentioned in this, that there was going to be a restaurant serving 51% food as opposed to alcohol, and that would give them what they call an SRX license. I would want to make sure that we are within guidelines on that. We can't enforce that. That's enforced by the Division of Alcoholic Beverages and Tobacco. They're auditors with the Department of Business and Professional Regulations. They do audits on that to determine. So there's certain ways around this thing. Some of the issues that other communities have with these is that when they have these types of licenses, they stop serving food and it becomes a nightclub and the extended hours and so on. So that when everybody else coming from all the other cities where places close at 2 a.m. and now they're coming to Pembroke Park, depending on the type of venue and stuff that they have inside there, if they're going to have events and so on, this creates problems for our police department. So we would have issues regarding security measures. Our security guards going to be employed by the owners of these businesses and so on. I know we're talking about two separate things with our compliance department in reference to Mr. Lewis over there and talking about a downtown district and so on. Well, this doesn't just define a downtown district, it defines the entire town. Our noise ordinance here are horrible. We have no way of enforcing them because there's no set standard. We would recommend that we adopt the county's noise ordinance on that. With it, we have the decibel meters and so on, so that we could, in fact, enforce city ordinance regarding those things. So there's a lot of stuff that goes around this that I think that right now is very premature, that we would need to sit down with our code enforcement people and other planners and so on, and the police department really needs to be a part of these things from the beginning stages so that we can determine, because while we have some in the town already, we still have issues with noise ordinances and so on from them. I know when I come in here at 5:30 in the morning, Polo Club's still rocking and rolling over there. And I can hear them in the parking lot out back of the PD here. So right now, we would ask that you postpone this and then come up with some guardrails regarding this issue.
Thank you, Chief.
Do you guys have any issue with postponing?
I do.
No, absolutely not.
I not only want to postpone it, I just think it's a real blight on our community. I don't want to see this happen at all in any form. We have enough problems with places that we have that are already operating that I don't think we need to expand that. I mean, I hear I can hear stuff from Gulfstream for crying out loud. I mean, it's how loud they can be on sometimes on weekends and stuff. But these clubs are, they 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, they're still pounding away. So I have nothing good to say about them, so I'm not for it.
Okay, Mr. Vandermeer, can I just ask a silly question? Where did this come from?
That was a good question.
It initially started as a text amendment to bring the town into compliance with state regulations. I believe it expanded into additional things were outside of that scope. So therefore, we don't have any objection for this being postponed, and we'll go ahead and work with all the departments to make sure everybody's satisfied.
Okay.
Let's do that.
I think we not should go not only postponed. I agree with Bill because we have to think about security for our residents. We just on. I feel like to decline this thing.
What are the state regulatory things that we actually need to put in? That's going to be the question that I have. Since you said that there was some state.
Yeah, I have to defer to Jeffrey. There was a particular state law in terms of the alcohol licensing.
That we don't have on our books as right now. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Jeffrey Lewis, manager for the town of Pembroke Park. Speaking with the zoning department in regards to some of the state regulations, with regards to the distance requirements, that can be shortened down if the restaurants are serving 51% worth of food, so that way they can actually sell licenses, alcohol license. So there are certain type of licenses that they're allowed to use, from beer and wine all the way to hard liquor. And depending on the type of store that it is, if it's a restaurant and they're serving food, then they'll be allowed to use hard liquor license more often. It also affects some of our package stores as well. And it will shorten that regulation as well to show that they don't need that 500 feet regulation.
Okay. So, Mr. Attorney, can you work with them to kind of bring back something that keeps us within the statutory guidelines that we have to adopt?
Happy to.
Without the extra stuff that the commission doesn't want or that the police department doesn't want?
You have two options. I mean, again, this is second reading. If the commission wanted to vote down this item, we could start, again, from the drawing board, so to speak.
Okay.
Work with your planners, your building staff, and bring back a new ordinance which addresses the issues the commission's referring to. Alternatively, if you wanted to defer the item, we could bring it back at second reading and incorporate those changes in between first and second reading. Either option will legally get you to the same conclusion, but we're certainly happy to work with your professional staff, police department. This is second, so you defer second reading. In other words, if you wanted to scrap this item.
I know I don't want to necessarily start over with more advertising
We're
unnecessary.
gonna have to re-advertise second reading.
Yeah.
Correct.
So the question is whether you want to go back to first reading, which you can certainly do with the clean ordinance.
I still didn't get the answer who brought it forward to begin with.
Jeffrey brought it forward because of the state statute that changed. We just have to be in compliance with some of the state statute stuff, but they kind of expanded it once they started digging in. So I just want to make sure that we cover the state statute stuff that we need to cover, but not necessarily like the morphing of wherever it ended up.
Right. We're bringing up the ordinance up to state statutes.
Yeah, I just don't want to see it make the community suffer anymore.
If I can make a recommendation, well, if the commission wanted to defer second reading, it can be re-advertised. I'm not going to suggest it would come back in May, but it may come back after your summer recess.
Okay.
Again, it would just require re-advertising, but it would come back on second reading in a public hearing.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. All right.
You need a motion to defer.
Motion to defer. Motion to defer.
I make a motion.
Defer.
Second.
Got you there.
Yes. Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. All right. Let me just make sure. Yep. Okay, cool. 8.1 resolution. Resolution for the premier sponsorship for the Broward League of Cities annual gala.
Can you speak into the mic because I can't hear you?
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Item 8.1, Commissioners, Resolution 2026-024, Resolution of the Town Commission, Town of Pembroke Port, Florida, approving the town's participation as a premier sponsor for the Broward League of Cities Annual Gala, authorizing the town manager to or designee to execute all necessary documents, provide for conflict severability, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this is the Broward League of Cities is holding their annual gala, and I believe as a town we always choose the 5,000 sponsorship. So it's just in front of you today to approve a $5,000 sponsorship to the gala.
I think we can.
Motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem.
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
James, you're gonna waddle down here.
While the finance director is coming down, Commissioner, if I might, Resolution 2026-036, a resolution of the Town Commission, Town of Pembroke Port, Florida, amending the fiscal year 25-26 town budget adopted on December 1st, 2025, pursuant to Resolution 25-078, finding for an amended budget for the fiscal year 2025-06 for the town, attached to Exhibit A, finding for severability, finding for conflicts, and finding for an effective date.
Could I ask the town clerk to? Oh, okay, I see it. Terrific. So back in 2021, when we received the ARPA funds, most small municipalities had the option of doing what's known as a standard allowance. So you're able to recognize the entire revenue in that particular year. And so the accounting was done right, and it was recognized as revenue in that particular year. But on the back end, and going forward, at the end of the year, that revenue automatically, whatever's left unspent, goes into fund balance. And so what should have been done over the last few years is that each time a new budget was created, we had to reappropriate the ARPA funds into the budget, create dedicated expense items for the ARPA funds in order to apply payments. And unfortunately, that wasn't done for 5 years. And we also had to do budget amendments in order to transfer funds from the general fund, which is where the ARPA sits, to enterprise funds. And so you needed to do interfund transfers, you needed to do reappropriations on a yearly basis. And so that wasn't done. My guess as to why that wasn't done is because the town had some issues getting projects off the ground. So whoever the accountant was at the time either probably didn't have that specialized fund accounting knowledge to know to do this, or they decided to wait until there were several projects going out the door before trying something like this. Or they probably thought that, and I'm speculating, they probably thought that the complexity of the accounting, wasn't worth their time. So what I'm trying to do now is correct the accounting on the back end and create a trail that will be seen by our auditors going forward. And because we have until the end of the year in order to expend all of the ARPA funds, I'm bringing in all of the ARPA funds that are still in fund balance and bringing it and appropriating it officially into the budget, which is what I'm doing here. If you take a look at each of the line items, first line item is the use of fund balance. So that officially brings in the ARPA funds from fund balance, from our reserves, in to the budget to be applied to the projects, to the multitude of projects that we have going out this year. So I've created dedicated ARPA expenditure lines, both in the general fund, sewer, and stormwater. So you see where it says ARPA project expenditures. Those are the dedicated accounts. So that's the second requirement that we fulfill. And the third requirement is that I'm distributing the funds across sewer and stormwater. And so we're doing the inter-fund transfer that we should have done. So this basically corrects, what needed to be done 5 years ago. And it will give us dedicated ARPA funds to which we will apply payments for projects that we have pending through the end of the year. So this is It's not new revenue. We're not raising new taxes. It's money that we're taking from reserves to properly fund ARPA according to the accounting treatment that should have been done originally. So that is the First Amendment. And can you?
So we're just basically making a correction?
Yes, we're just creating the accounting treatment that we should have done to reflect bringing the ARPA funds in. Because prior to that, I guess because we had certain issues with getting projects off the ground, it was never a priority in order to do the appropriation the correct way. So this again is.
What do you mean the correct way?
Well, you have to basically when you have a revenue source that you're going to be using over a multitude of years, you have to reappropriate it every year via budget amendment. And some people might have thought it was too difficult or too complex.
Not necessary, right?
Or not necessary because there weren't any projects to apply it to. But now that we have, now that we've got a steady hand at Public Works and we've got several projects and we have a full list that we're tracking to, I just wanted to make sure that this was done so that we could get the treatment right and have the auditors actually see the trail.
So I'm going to ask a couple questions. Why wasn't this done in September when we adopted the budget and we allocated or we assigned funds to those different items? That's the first question. And the second question is, was there not amounts put into the purchase orders? Then are there like purchase orders that don't have any money in them that are there that were created that aren't funded? So I'm trying to get a grasp on some of this stuff because these are kind of we kind of adopted the budget in September. We knew we were going to be doing the generator then, right, when we did the budget? Didn't we know that, or am I just kind of...
We didn't decide on the generator until November, so the budget had already been created at that point. November 7th, I believe.
That generator's been floating around now for, when was the grant? When was that? Yeah, that generator's been floating around in our capital improvements for a good long time as a capital improvement and the CIP on the budgets repeatedly. It's also part of the HMPG grant. So I just want to know, we had these projects and they were approved with the budget, even though the work wasn't kind of done, but nothing's done in September when we adopt the budget. So why weren't they funded then?
Not to point fingers, but our previous town manager was very resistant to getting a generator. And there were many discussions that took place in his office.
But there seems to be some misunderstanding that this is a commission form of government.
Correct. And he preferred to rent the generator that we were renting at the time. And so we didn't really have a definitive, we didn't have a definitive answer on it until the commission on November 7th declared that we were going to purchase the generator.
So you're telling me we had stuff on the budget that wasn't funded? Is that what you're saying? That we approved a budget that wasn't, that items in the CIP weren't funded?
It was funded, but the audit...
It's not funded if you're transferring the money now.
But the accounting treatment didn't match what we were funding because we have a separate bank account for ARPA. And so whenever we had an ARPA project, we would just take money from the bank account and apply it to the project. But the accounting treatment on the back end also has to match. So that's what we're correcting now. And again, it hadn't been done before because we had such inconsistency with getting projects out of the door.
Not to throw the manager under the bus or something like that, but I think he was saying that the that generator out there that we're using, it was like $5,000 a month, something like that.
It's closer to 7.
7? Yeah. Okay, $7,000 a month, and in a year's time that would be $84,000. And then offset, looking at the new one was like $1 million or something like that.
And there was also talk of a reimbursable grant that we were eligible for.
Exactly. There was a reimbursable grant of some kind.
But again, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but he was just very resistant. And as a result, we...
I think it was because he was looking at all these other different things.
So here's a question. So has any of the ARPA projects been started?
Oh, yeah. We've...
Why hasn't the money been pulled from ARPA then?
Oh, it has been. This is just once again just to get the accounting treatment right. We've spent 1.3 million on ARPA projects thus far. This and things such as the police sign-on bonus.
So that's been pulled from ARPA already.
Correct.
So everything else has been pulled except for this generator, is what you're saying?
Well, the generator's separate, but the 2 million left in ARPA is going to other projects that
Have they been
Public
started?
Works is doing. Yes, they've been started, and that's actually how we caught it, because they entered an encumbrance into their line item, and I realized, there was not a dedicated ARPA expense line to match that, and so that's what we're creating here.
So we started projects, used general fund to pay for it, and now we're reimbursing ourselves because they weren't pulled from the correct account.
Correct. And this is the budget amendment for the generator that the commission decided on back in November 7th. We created a capital improvements element. Our original quote was 1.8 million, and that's what we put in out there. But Public Works was able to find a vendor to bring it in at 1.2, so it's significant savings. And so this is an completely different budget amendment in order to fund the generator that we all agreed on. Again, the decision wasn't made until late because we had so much resistance from our chief administrative officer at the time.
So I have some concerns about this. I'm gonna say that right now because, again, this is compliance issues. This is, making sure that those transfers are coming through in a timely manner. This is also about, the issue with, what was that boy's name? Saeed with FERDAP. That wasn't FERDAP. What was that? FDP. DEP, and funding sources in transferring money, making sure we're pulling money from the revenue account. And, I have concerns because everybody wants to sit here and tell me, our books are great. And I'm like, wait a minute, if our books are great, then this wouldn't be occurring. You know what I'm saying? If our books were great, we shouldn't be starting projects without the funding source being there. And you're telling me that we're starting projects and we're intermingling funds, which is an issue.
Which we're correcting currently.
But you're correcting it, but it's an issue. This isn't your first day here.
Right.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get to. Is like, I have an issue with our finance department and with the way things are done, with having purchase orders that have negative balances. I have an issue with that because we shouldn't be having that. And there's a fully staffed team up there. And I don't want to hear the city manager said no when the commission voted on something. This is a commission form of government. If we make a decision up here, it's you guys' job, all of you guys, not just one person. It's everybody's job to get that work done. That's what we're here to do. We're not sitting here to waste our time and come to a meeting every other week just to sit here just to say, oh yeah, let's blow smoke up our butts. And then you guys aren't carrying through on the task. We have a list of directives. We're voting up here to make things happen for our city. And if they're not getting done, we have a problem. If they're not being financed, we have a problem. When there's accounting issues that are coming up, we have a problem. We have a major problem. Now, right now, Trump is trying to claw back this money if it's not spent, but you're sitting here telling me that it's in an account and we're like, it's just sitting there. And you're telling me from 2021?
Understood, but it was, we uncovered a 4 or 5 year issue. It should have been done far sooner.
But it even should have been done when we adopted the budget and you were moving things forward. It should have been done at that time. How are we sitting here voting on a budget if the money's not there? That scares me. And then we're sitting here creating stuff in different positions that weren't funded, and we're spending money out the door. But where's that money coming from too?
Well, we actually did budget it, but again, we need to ensure that
budgeting and not having the money there is
ARPA is.
No, budgeting and having the money there, not the same. I could budget for $1 million. It don't mean I'm gonna have $1 million in my account unless somebody gonna give it to me.
That is correct. But and again, that is why we're ensuring that the ARPA treatment is being done correctly. But I can rest assured, the money was coming out specifically from our ARPA bank account. We just need to get the accounting to match what we extracted from the account. That's actually all we're doing here. We did not pay it with imaginary money if that's what your concern is. We just want to, again, ensure that the accounting treatment
Well, I want to make
backs
sure
up
that the
what we-
accounting treatment is correct too, because I don't want money coming from the building department going to the general fund or any other fund that it should not be going to. I want to make sure that the stormwater enterprise fund is going to stormwater projects. I want to make sure that sewer funds are going to sewer projects and not that we are commingling accounts.
No, and that is why we're doing an actual budget amendment. It's the only way you can do an interfund transfer, legally and within GASB, and by complying with GASB. We would never.
We aren't in compliance
move
with GASB
funds.
because we just got this $86,000 personal loan that's definitely not a GASB principal or even a COSA principal. So I'm confused about that too. But
Understood.
I'm gonna seal my lips. Can you guys make a motion to do the budget amendment so that we can fund these things?
Yeah, motion to, hang on here, to approve to 2026-005. That's the one, right? Yeah.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
and Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins is not here, so motion carries.
I'm gonna
As a matter of procedure, I'm sorry to interrupt
Go
you.
ahead.
Just real quickly to the clerk, to the finance director, pursuant to Chapter 166, I just asked the amended budget be posted on the town's website within 5 days.
Okay, and I'm gonna also ask, can somebody find out who is our current auditor? How come they didn't catch that money hasn't been transferred since 2021?
You would have needed to be looking for it specifically. Again, because
No,
the
that's
reason
a-
we found it is because of the projects that we had going out the door that we
That's
had to
$2 million.
line up. All right.
You should miss that. That's all I'm saying. Okay. 8.5, consideration and approval of agreement with Dave Segerson for interim town manager.
Thank you, Commissioner. For the record, a resolution of the Town Commission, Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, pursuant to Section 2-92 of the Town's Code of Ordinances, appointing David Segerson as the interim town manager in accordance with the agreement attached to Exhibit A, finding for conflict, severability, finding for effective date. As the commission directed, we prepared an agreement which engages Mr. Segerson as an independent contractor, consistent with the duties and responsibilities set out in the town code for interim town manager services. As the commission stated at your last meeting, the compensation is consistent with the compensation amount paid your prior manager. There's a 30-day termination clause for either party. Otherwise, Mr. Segerson will have the full portfolio under the code and charter as it relates to the role and responsibilities of the town manager.
Dave, do you want to say anything? I'm assuming it's the same contract.
It's similar because in this context, Mr. Segerson is an independent contractor. He is not being engaged as an employee.
Okay.
There's no health benefits, no retirement benefits. It's simply a strict independent contractor agreement. Compensation is the same rate as your prior city manager. He is entitled to the automobile allowance that your former city manager was entitled to. But again, he'll be paid as a 1099 independent contractor, not a town employee. 30 days, either party can terminate with or without cause. No severance, just simply engaged as a professional consultant to perform those services. All of the scope of services, duties, and responsibilities are laid out in the town code.
Okay.
Are we paying the same salary, the town manager or interim manager, the same?
It's the same amount that your former manager was receiving, your current suspended manager, Mr. Segerson will be receiving to do the same work in that capacity.
And including also the insurance?
He's not taking any insurance. No benefits, no insurance, just a strict compensation. The only additional component of that compensation is the same $500 automobile allowance that your former manager and prior manager.
So remember the former manager, when we hired, it was the mysterious way to find out, like, he don't want the insurance, and then later on he wants the insurance, and he was adding some money. And
None of
so
it.
I just don't want any conflict.
Good question, Vice Mayor. Good memory. There's none of it. It is a strict compensation for services provided.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we need a motion?
We do need a
Yes.
motion. And there was something I was about to ask you.
Yeah,
Oh, do we need a motion to suspend his
It's included in the agreement.
It's part of the agreement. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Part of the, that's a good point, Commissioner. Thank you.
Okay.
In that agreement, the town's agreement with Capitol Hill Consultants will be abated
Okay.
during the pendency of Mr. Segerson's tenure with the town.
Okay.
When the independent contractor agreement were to be terminated or expired for whatever reason, it would revert back.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
And in addition to that, I haven't actually called them yet, but I will be ceasing activities for any of my other clients while I'm still here. And also, I would just like to say what the reason, I think the reason why we're sort of doing it this way is that my tenure here will end when you all find my replacement. And so we just want to make that as seamless as possible, and that I will be here at your pleasure as long as you need me.
Yeah, if I could just add to that point, there's a provision in the Florida Constitution, which you all are aware of, that restricts public officials from lobbying while they're in office. There's a similar extension to public employees to some extent. Mr. Segerson, as he just stated, has suspended all of his lobbying activities, both public and private clients, while he's dedicated to the town. I mean, he's committed himself to this position, to this commission, and that's what he will be doing on a full-time basis. It's a full-time job. Any of that other lobbying or other professional services he might provide to other third parties would not apply, would not be compensated for that work during his term with the town.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-038.
I second.
Okay. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette.
Yes.
Motion carries.
9.2, consideration to approve the capital improvement elements for submission to the Department of Commerce. We've already discussed this.
This is ad nauseum, Commissioner. This is just a public hearing required by state law and ordinance of the town of Pembroke Park, Florida, amending the town's comp plan to provide for the 2026 annual update to the capital improvement element attached to today, incorporated herein, authorizing, directing, transmittal to the Department of Commerce, plan for severability, conflicts, and effective date. The Commission's considered this item several times in the past. This is the public hearing that state law requires.
Is that a okay. Motion to approve ordinance number 2026-009.
Second.
Roll call.
Anybody from the public, if I could?
No. Yeah, sorry. Nope. He waved his hand.
Thank you.
He gave me the hand wave.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you for what you're doing for our citizens. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your confidence. I hope that I
Your business.
can do the job and keep the town going in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. 10.1, approval of minutes. To approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Roll call.
Of course. Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem.
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette. Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
10.2, consideration and approval of payments for cash outstanding invoices. Jeffrey, make it quick because I'm supposed to have been in class 18 minutes ago.
Very well. This is in regards to the invoices for Craig A. Smith and Associates. As spoken from March 20th meeting, there were some outstanding balances that needed to be taken care of. In that time frame, though, there was additional invoices that was found and emailed. The procurement department went ahead and sorted out any of them from the POs and the other projects that's been taken care of, and the total amount is $52,680. So we're just seeking commission approval so that way we could get these invoices paid
Total
and
how
taken
many?
care of.
Total how many invoices?
Nine invoices.
52 what, Jeff?
$52,680.
Have we had problems with companies being late with issuing invoices to us?
Yes, these invoices came in later than expected because these projects and the work that was done was back January of last year. We didn't receive these until later.
That's not good procedures. We should have them in a more timely manner. So a way that we could put that in when we are making contracts with these vendors that we can have, timely invoicing.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
ahead.
Well, I would need to pull the contract with Craig A. Smith. One of the standard provisions we have in our agreements is invoicing within 30 days, payment within 30 days. Just so
Okay.
there is some compressed time frame. I don't candidly offhand know whether that is in this agreement, but we'll reconfirm that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Meetings have been established and communications has been open so that way these are taken care of in a timely manner.
Thank you.
All right, so you need a
Consideration
motion
and
to pay the 52,000?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a motion to pay CAS
I make a motion
52,680?
approve 52,000,
680.
680, 10.2.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 10.3, consideration and ratification of expenditures for electrical drawing development. Mr. Odoms. How much you need?
for you.
How much you need?
Good evening, Jeff Odoms, Public Service Director.
Speak a little bit more into the mic, Jeff. Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Can you speak
Yes.
louder? Can't hear you.
Talk into the mic.
Been a long day. Okay, my apologies. Okay, so this item comes before you for approval. Back when the generator project was in the design development phase, there was a meeting with the subcontractor, the electrical contractor, that took place with the former deputy town manager, and a request was made of them to develop as-built drawings for the town's electrical system as it relates to the project in the back room down here. That was not paid. At the time, it was paid by the contractor, the design engineer, excuse me, of Craven and Thompson, paid it out of their purchase order that they were using to develop the plans for the generator. I have to put that money back into that purchase order for them to be whole as it relates to the design that they provided for the generator project. In the amount, I believe it's $3,200.
Is there a motion? Yeah. Is there a motion to approve the payment of $3,200 for the?
It would be a PO change order, ma'am. So adding $3,200 to the current PO.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve 10.3, 3,200.
Okay.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. You might as well stay up there for 12.1, discussion and possible action for direction on park renovation.
Can you speak a little bit?
Oh, sorry. 12.1, discussion and possible action for direction of park renovations.
Yes, so this item's coming before the commission. We have myself and Deputy Director Manny Larzabal have been working diligently on getting information gathered as it relates to the amenities that we are looking to bring to the town park. We have now looked into, and some of your backup information has some information there. We've been looking at the splash pad options, the playground options, and the amphitheater options. We've begun to put together an idea of a potential cost that these items would be. And what I'm looking for this evening is a couple of things. One is direction on what the commission feels is the budget that they want us to work with, and two, direction to move forward to come back to the commission with two choices of each item for you to look at, and then subsequently tell us which one you would want us to move forward with. So why do I say that? Because these are completely, they can develop into many different ways, and I can bring you options that would take a significant amount of time for us to go through each and every option. So I want to work with a budget that you tell me you want to work with, bring back a minimal amount of options for you to choose from within the scope of the budget that you tell me that you want me to work with. That's what this evening's discussion is primarily about.
Wouldn't a round table on this kind of thing be appropriate?
Yeah, we did, and so several times.
We need to look at each other in the eye, and when we are talking about these projects.
Just to give you a little idea, we spend a lot of time, and we need to use the ARPA money end of the December. So while they had little choice and the design, and I look for it, that one. So the small, not designing anything, the amphitheater they're showing me is just 1 million. So
I want the pretty one.
yeah, so obviously we want the good one, or At least we can, so at least I am giving them, I was trying to give them the budget, at least 5.5 million each, like splash pad, maybe 1 million, playground, maybe 1 million, and 3 million we can use for we can be adjust here and there, but at least they have a direction. And so next workshop, they can bring to show us as a presentation, I want not 2, at least 3 or 4 choices. So then we can decide it which one we go through. And I think right today, we just need to give the direction. They can just working on it. And then we can have the roundtable meeting again.
What's the timeline here? How fast can we do this?
So the first thing is, with the approval of a budget, myself, we will go back and we will work with the contractor that we've already begun to work with, and we will establish, as Vice Mayor said, a couple of choices per item. So the splash pad may have 3 choices, and the playground may have 3 or 4 options. But we will make sure those options work within the budgeted. Approved budget area that you give me. So if you tell me we don't want to spend more than $1 million on the playground, I'm going to give you 3 options that are within that million, and you tell me which one you want at the next opportunity when we meet. That's the gist of what this evening is about. When we come back with that information, obviously you can tell me if you want to have a roundtable or if you just want to see a presentation and make a vote that night. That's strictly the commission's choice.
I'd like to see some sort of scope of exactly what's being proposed. I haven't really seen anything. I mean, other than the fact that I said I'd like to see a couple swing sets down there, but I haven't seen a building proposal of any kind of what was going to be built or something, say amphitheater. I haven't seen any designs of amphitheaters presented. I know last year, I think we had one. But
in the backup that I provided, I have a picture of one particular amphitheater that was one design that we looked at, and it is and it has a price point. Basically, it has a price point. It has a price point, I believe, of 2.5. I think is what's on the document.
Did you see the
just like I said, that's the simple one, like 1 million.
Now
we have to working on it.
I gave, just in quick reference, that's like more like, thank you so much. That's like the top of the line, if you will.
My eyes ain't that good. Looks like a swimming pool.
Wait a second, we can.
Is that a swimming pool?
No, it's a splash pad.
It will soon be.
Can it get a little bigger? Thank you so much.
Oh, that's the
Splash pad.
This is the amphitheater. This is the splash pad down here. This is the approximated projected cost for this splash pad. This is the projected cost for the playground. Come down for me, please. This is the amphitheater. It is kind of small. I'm sorry about that, but I can get you bigger pictures of that. Right now, it's projected to be about $3 million.
How big is that splash pad?
I'm sorry?
How big is a splash pad that cost $1 million? I got a hose.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we just played in the mud.
So depend what kind of tools you
Couple
got.
hundred square feet. It's a couple hundred square feet. But again, I can get you the specifics on the size.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.
But basically speaking, the idea was to get you some idea of pricing so you can give me some idea of a budget. And then, of course, now we can take that budget and we can work with the company, and I can bring back maybe 1 or 2 additional of this for you to look at and choose.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Do it right once the first time. So
Measure twice, cut once.
we want nice.
Yes, ma'am. Also,
And the soft part is your
one
finger.
one added point to that is, with a budget and the understanding of how you would like this money allocated for these items, also when we return, we should be able to give you at least 1 or 2 options of how to pay for it.
Yeah, but there's some.
So when we come back, we'll be able to say we're gonna put X amount down and it would look like this much a month or whatever the option is, and give you a couple of options for that as well.
Also, if you could figure in the price of what it costs to run a splash pad.
The operational costs.
Yes, sir.
Sure, we can do that. That'll be like on an annual basis, so to speak.
Right.
Yep.
All
So
right.
just to give the direction not to exceed 5.5 million.
I don't know. I might need a little more.
At least they can bring something to us. Oh, little more? Okay. Okay, so not be, okay, so just 6.
We're getting off track now.
Yeah, I think so.
Or what do you think? So what do you think?
Am I going to get my swing?
Okay, so not to exceed 6.5?
I will if you agree to get me some swing sets done.
Then 7, because we saying adding, right? Okay.
And negotiations going on here.
Okay.
Can we just agree to that we're gonna have a roundtable about this and really work that through, and you
Yeah.
have some suggestions and
Yes.
pricing, and so we get an idea.
Yeah, let's do that. We can do one as soon as possible.
Yeah.
We can spend a couple of hours on that.
Yeah.
During the day.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay.
Not to exceed, I'm sorry.
7.
7? Okay, who seconded?
I can do that.
Okay.
I give you.
All right. Vice Mayor Kashem,
You're not getting a raise.
Commissioner Mohammed, Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette.
Is that me?
Motion.
Okay, yes.
Motion carries.
Yeah.
We-
We already have it 2 now.
I'm much.
Can you please speak into the mic? Speak into the mic. I can't hear you.
Sorry, it was off. Okay. Discussion on emergency repair and redirection of exposed sewer force main at Holiday Park. Okay. You're up.
Yes, so again, this item comes before the commission for approval to move forward to make the immediate repairs. I'm not sure, I know Commissioner Hodgkins and I believe Commissioner Marset, you might know about this. I'm not sure if the other commissioners remember, but there is a force main that in Holiday Park that previously was I want to say embedded, but it's not necessarily the right word.
On land.
Buried
It was
is
on
a better
land.
word. And it was at that time being able to be managed under that situation where the way it was constructed. However, over time, the banking, it was next to the lake, and the bank has eroded to now it's exposed. It's exposed and it's not supported. It is still in use. So it has flow going through it that we have to be mindful of. So this repair that I'm looking to have approval for, the plan is to redirect it around that area, cut out that bad section and redirect it with new pipe and reconnect it on the other side. The approximate, I think the cost was just about 300,000 roughly. I think it's in the backup as well.
Yeah.
And that's what this particular item is for. Right?
Do we have the funds for this?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think.
Definitely needs to be done.
Yeah, we don't have a choice. It's an environmental issue. So because if that pipe bursts, we'll have
be really bad
a pollution issue on our hand. I might get fined by the EPA. So I would say, can we give directions to Mr.
Do you have a
Odom?
number?
Start it.
Not to exceed?
It's okay.
I'm sorry, not to exceed. I don't think it's going to be more than the estimate, but if we want to put a not to exceed 310, 315, something like that, because I believe the estimate for everything is 302.
302?
302, 281,
Okay.
and 62 cents.
Um,
So 310.
Where is the item? This goes.
Do you want a motion?
12.2.
Yes.
12.2.
I'll make a motion to approve the emergency repair
Not to exceed.
and not to exceed 315.
302, 281, and 62 cents.
Girl, you being cheap.
Okay.
I would not make it exact, ma'am, because things
Okay,
happen and
so-
I will have to come back.
So what do you?
350.
315 is
350?
fine, and if I go
Not to
above
exceed
that, I'll
350.
post it as to why.
Okay.
I'll second.
So who made the first motion? Okay.
Marset.
All right, Clerk Commissioner. Okay, Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem.
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, 12.7. Discussion and possible action on appointment of voting delegates for the Broward League of Cities. Don't you guys like that?
So I need a first, an alternate, and a second alternate. So I need 3 people.
Eric, you do such a wonderful
called?
job.
Are we talking to
representing us.
12.3?
Appreciate all
This
of your hard work.
12.7. Oh, we did 12.3 already.
12.3 is done. 12.7.
Number 1 is Eric. Number 2 is Bill, and number 3 is Ashira.
So you make a motion to appoint Eric as and then
No.
Bill as the alternate and a chair as the
I'm representing the Broward cities and the national.
Yeah, you should. You're good with that.
Cities.
Eric, you're good with that.
And
We
the
are really appreciate
Girl
it.
Scouts, I have no.
Yeah, you are the proud. You know that.
All right.
Proud, sir. We
Please.
appreciate it.
Do I have a second for any?
Yeah, second.
Okay.
Am I
All
being
right.
voted down?
Yes.
You lose.
All right. So roll call. Vice Mayor Kasham.
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette.
No.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Want to say who's going first?
He is, and then you're second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I go along with that.
Okay, and Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
3-1, motion carries.
I hate you.
As long as he's
Love
going
you.
first.
Okay. Okay.
He's easy to follow up.
Yes. We have to push him.
Chief, do you need to present your report, or did you just give it to us just for us to have it and you're good? You're good. Yay! Everybody has 5.1. Okay. Attorney comments?
Mayor, I have nothing. For sure. Thank you.
Okay. Dave, any comments?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you, one and all, for having the confidence in me, and you know, I will do the job. I will get it done. Now, one thing.
Get that impression?
One thing, and in my discussions with the chief in my office today, we started to talk about labor relations, and a contract for your police officers is up in I believe October 1st. And so I'm just letting you know, this is a piece of information that he and others on the staff, the HR director, the finance director, and the attorney will begin the process of setting up our negotiations with our police officers. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. But other than that, I'm ready to sign off for tonight.
Well, welcome on board.
Thank you.
The funny ship.
Thank you. Commissioner comments?
Yes. As you know, we are the Solid Waste Authority. We're at the final stage where we have to vote. We're supposed to vote last month, but that got delayed. That's a polite way of saying it. As soon as we have voted for the solid waste agreement, we'll make a presentation here in town as soon as possible, and I hope the commissioner will approve the master plan. You can, if you haven't seen the master plan, you can look at the Solid Waste Authority's website.
No, I have nothing, thank you.
I have one regarding our town planner, where we are, the update, because we are supposed to looking for the town planner. So
In-house?
Yep.
Good.
Bradley Frischman, HR Director. Oh, sorry, Bradley Frischman, HR Director. With the town planner, even the assistant town manager position, I recently received well over 70 applications for both positions, so it's going to take me some time.
So you're receiving the application for the town planner too?
Yes, ma'am.
So when the advertisement open?
March 17th,
So it's already a month?
almost.
Almost how many you received?
About 70.
7?
Yes, 70.
70?
70. Yes, ma'am.
So I think we are enough. So we can go through with that, maybe 10 of them, and then we can have a interview. I don't know who does the interview for them, the HR or? We also. Okay, so when you're done, then let us know. So we need a town planner also.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I have none. No comments. And we're going to just make the announcements. Huh? Yep, we're going to make the announcements.
Okay.
You have a special, sorry. Special magistrate hearing Wednesday, April 15, 2026 at 9 a.m. Workshop commission meeting Wednesday, April 29, 2026 at 6 p.m. And regular commission meeting Wednesday, May 13th, 2026 at 7 p.m. And there is a food giveaway Saturday, April 25th, 2026 at 9 a.m. So we do need volunteers. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.